Oh my God, the Democrats are so brave. Just kidding. They had a chance, but they just caved. And I'm really fucking mad and I don't know what to do. I think I'm probably gonna think of them when I poo. This is a call-in show. Okay. I think that was a pretty good theme song. That was
That
pretty
was a
good.
good
I think
start.
that was. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Calling It Now, aka CIN, which makes us sinners. I'm Jimmy Snow, and this is. Should it be Ari the Mermaid? Do we just call you Ari? Why don't you introduce yourself to the people? While potentially MAGAs, if you want to call and debate us, you can do so right there at 33654-32101.
I will say I've never been asked that before, so I normally just go with Mermaid Ari, but for short, people can just
Oh,
call me Ari.
I made it your last name. I'm
uh,
making
I'll take
creative
that as a last
executive
name.
decisions for people. Do you want to go ahead and just switch that for us, producer? If you would just, I can do it in the title too. Mermaid Ari makes more sense. I'm
I
gonna,
would hope so.
I'm gonna, yeah, yeah. Anyway, why don't you tell people what you do, and then we'll probably be complaining for a bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot to complain about right now, anyways. Well, I personally, I host my own call-in show where I talk to MAGA voters. It just depends on how I'm feeling in the mood. I might do what's called a MAGA support hotline, where I'm gearing in on their own cognitive dissonance that they believe that everybody on the left has, because they're not able to criticize the president of the United States in the action that he takes. And then sometimes I just do, hey, why are you still supporting Trump? And then digging into and somewhat also debunking a lot of the bullshit that Donald Trump says and how he's actively harming the United States of America instead of helping.
Yeah, which he is. And so there's, I guess, our first claim. If you want to call in and engage and you believe that you have good reasons to say that Donald Trump is good for America, call our number. It's easy to remember. It's 33654322101. 336-543-2101. I like the countdown in there. There's like a solid 6 through 0 countdown. Fond of
Now
it.
I saw that when I first saw the number, I was like, oh, I know that area code.
Yeah, what is it? North Carolina? I just went
Yep.
looking for a good memorable number. It's
It's
yeah, I
the
like the.
Piedmont Triad area code of North Carolina. So you've got Greensboro and that whole area. I can't remember. I think Winston-Salem also falls under there.
That's cool. Our other number for the line is Colorado, just because that's where I was at the time living when we started that one. Oh boy, is Jimmy's audio good today? How dare you? Yeah, it's fixed. It's fixed. That was a whole thing that I don't want to talk about. That gave me great frustration. What'd you say, Luthien? Oh, I can. Yeah, I can do that. Let's have a look here. Oh, that's interesting. All right, if you'll vamp for a second, I got to go fix something on our production end. You can tell people more,
Yeah.
and you can entice MAGA callers to call if you like. MAGA, we think that you're bad at everything. Oh, and Happy Veterans Day. Republicans don't care about veterans. There's
That's a
another
very true
claim I'll go
statement.
ahead and throw out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and dig into that while you go figure out some technical stuff. But so to be clear, guys, like when we're saying that MAGA doesn't care about the military, it's there's a lot of nuance to it. But if you just look at Donald Trump himself, we already know that he said extremely hateful rhetoric towards a lot of our formerly active duty service members, people that have left the military. He's insulted them, including people that used to be a part of his cabinet. And I know everybody likes to say, well, they're no longer in his cabinet, so he can just say these things, right? But that's not really the point. The point is he still said those things. So, for example, we know he's called our veterans suckers and losers. He didn't like John McCain because I like my veterans to have not been captured. And I know I'm not quoting that correct, okay? But he doesn't like any of them. We know that he doesn't appreciate the 1.2 million veterans that are on SNAP benefits that aren't getting paid out this month from the federal government's money. If you are in one of the 27 states that are so choosing to pay out SNAP benefits, that's coming from those states' pockets, that money from their pockets, and they're not getting the full benefits. We also know, according to the militarytimes.com, they're quoting a RAND survey. About 15% of active duty service members are actively receiving SNAP benefits or are actively going to food pantries every single month. So that makes up about 200,000 active duty service members. So we already know that there's just this one part that he's fighting all the way up to the Supreme Court, crying about being told that he needs to pay out these SNAP benefits. He's actively going against 1.2 million veterans and also 200,000 active duty service members who need the assistance. Not even just talking about everything else, but this is Veterans Day. So let's be clear that we are talking about them. He just doesn't care, and everybody wants to say yes, he's given them the options to go outside of network or off base to go and get their health care, but that was fully extended under the PACT Act with Joe Biden. So that's also not something that he can continue to take credit for anymore. I don't know, guys. There's just so many things. There's just so many things that I could go into about Trump not liking the military. MAGA doesn't really support the military. Why are we trying to give the jobs back to 80,000 service members who willingly chose not to get a vaccination when they're literally always getting vaccinations for things that are no longer in existence? Why would we give them back their jobs and then also demand that they give them back pay? Not to mention that that's violating the First Amendment, the first article of the United States Constitution, because Congress has the power to give out money, not the President of the United States. So there's that part too. Guys, it just actually just doesn't work. I would love for someone to call up and tell me how someone that is MAGA actually supports the military. That would be great. There's a lot of things that I threw out at y'all.
Excellent. Yeah, there's an issue with the recording stuff. All right. The phone number there is on the screen if you would like to call. And by the way, I'll also call if you want to call in as a Democrat and argue that what the Democrats just did, caving in after 40 days for no concessions and setting us up for supposedly the concession they got was a pinky promise that something's going to happen with the ACA.
We'll vote on it, but we're not going to tell you how we're going to vote or what the House is going to do.
Right. So the only leverage they had to potentially make that bill bearable, they have given up. And now there's going to be a vote, not necessarily in the affirmative. Like, they literally haven't promised to just not vote no, to just be like, we decided to do nothing and just fucking let. And what's worse is, like, now we're seeing the Republicans start to shape up what they are thinking about. And they're going to try and very swiftly push through some kind of reform to the ACA that looks like absolute, complete, total dog shit. And if Trump is to be trusted, which one is he? But he is talking about some kind of plan where you have a voucher system or a money system that you directly get to use to negotiate yourself. The way he put it was like, the money goes straight to you. You could only use it for healthcare, and then you get to go and individually, you're going to feel like an entrepreneur. You're going to go and be like an entrepreneur. You're going to go negotiate. Tell me more about how basically, the people who you're negotiating your healthcare with are going to be like year 2010 Verizon employees working off of that cash commission, that profit share commission. I was one. I know how horrible we were, people. We were just bad people. Everybody who was working at Verizon in 2010 needed your money to support their cocaine habit. That is 100% true. Sue me. They were all doing coke, and that's why they needed the number of Verizon back rooms that if you tested for coke, 100%, all of them. I mean, I don't know if they've changed things since they got rid of those commission products, but listen, it's not even just Verizon. Literally, you could go and be like, oh, I'm going to go and have lunch with the AT&T guys. Somebody had coke with them. So what I'm trying to say is in 2010, if you worked in a cell phone store, tell us more about your Coke habit. But second of all, it's not that important. Literally, like, you're going to go individually negotiate. They're going to love it. Everybody, it's going to be so good. You're going to be able to buy the insurance you want. They will do anything except give you fucking healthcare and go to therapy. These people.
I don't know about anybody else, but I don't even like calling car insurance. Is that something I look at every 6 months? I don't even want to do. I want to do everything online and not have to call somebody.
Yeah.
This is the problem with I don't know. What is it called? First world problems?
Have you seen people mistake what that means though? Because every time I've said it, somebody has assumed that I meant that I'm first world and other Americans are not. Yeah, people don't know what that means so well. For
No.
America would be right. What is the zip code here? I want to pull it up again. I did it on the podcast, or maybe it was on the other show the other day, but what my premiums are going up to. What the fuck is my... That might be it. It might be under my old zip. Yep, there we go. So right now, just so everybody knows, and this is with 0 subsidies right now, and this is just the premium. Also, I feel like I have to like so qualify everything. Just the premium. And most people who watch know, I'm dealing with chronic illness. It sucks. Shit's shitty, and it gets shittier. Okay. And my insurance right now, because they can't disqualify me from pre-existing conditions, and I'm only 35 years old, other than my chronic illness, everything else is fine. Which I don't know why specifying that. Just my premium right now, no subsidies, nothing. I pay $476.56 automatically on the last day of every month. That's already literally next year, starting Dubai. It says on my thing, December 31st, for me to have the exact same care as before. Though, you know what's funny is my old plan says, like, next to the plan number, it's like in parentheses, 2 free PCP visits, $0 pediatric PCP visits. And then next to that, which it is really great to get PCP for free from your insurance. But anyway, right next to, there's no parentheses on this one. I don't know if that means they got rid of that, the way like my old insurance that I switched from the first year that they were doing virtual e-visits, those were basically unlimited free. And then the second year when they were like, see how great and convenient those were? Now they cost the exact same as everything else. I don't know if they bait and switched me or what, but anyway, I'm going from $476 to $582.92. Please send a super chat. $582.92. I'm going to nearly $600 a month before the point of care, right? This is, and I still have on top of that a deductible. I still have on top of that the what is it called? Like the co-pays I have, and the out-of-pocket maximum is still high, and yet next year 600 times 12 would be $7,200 ish, right? Right. I mean, it's not actually $7,200 because I'm $17 short of that, so you can do all of it. Ari might do the math.
72. I did not want to do that quick. I pulled up a calculator. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I did not want to do quick math there. I was like, never mind.
Yeah. So if I wake up next month. Oh, and by the way, my main medication that I buy is cheaper to buy without insurance on Amazon's pharmacy thing too. So I'm not even getting a deal for having the insurance on my medication. And for the most part, now I'm at that place where I just have to be on that medication always, right? So I just need the active prescription, which you could actually do with a $50 e-visit to get renewed. Instead, I'm going to be paying $7,200 next year. Obviously, if something tragic happens, but in theory, like $7,200, and that's none of the point of care shit. That's just the hedging the bet. That's just my wager on whether or not I will get worse.
And that's the thing that people seem to forget when they're comparing us to other countries that actually have universal health care. And they're like, it'll cost us so much money. It's like, you can say that, but if you have a $1,500 annual deductible plus you're paying $7,200. Then you also have copays for every single visit. You have a separate copay if you go to the ER. Typical ER copays are like $75, and that's in case of an emergency. Then you have specialist copays that are about $50 for just to get it in the door and seen. Your normal provider copays are anywhere between $15 and $30, depending on who the insurance company is from. And if you're someone like Jimmy or myself that happen to have conditions where we need to be seen fairly often, that stuff adds up. The only people that it would be more expensive for would be the healthy ones that never go to the doctor because they don't even sneeze.
Yeah. This is where, and so it's like, listen, people, where we are right now isn't saying that the ACA is great. The ACA isn't great.
No.
The ACA never was built to be great. Maybe it would have been better if they hadn't given up the most important parts of it, the public option, which they dropped that shit so fast back when they were trying to pass it. It was never meant to be great, but it's better than the current system. So right now we have like, yeah, for sure. We're going to like, yeah. Okay. We promise. And it's not a lot of anything. Anyway, we'd like to debate with anybody who thinks the Democrats are doing a good job. We'd like to debate anybody who thinks MAGA is doing a good job. Anybody who is super stoked for these $2,000 stimmy checks that they believe are actually happening, right? But by the way,
I'm still waiting on my
ahead.
Doge check. I heard it was going out on February 30th of 2025, but we're now in November.
Right. We started at, wasn't it like 6,000, then 5,000, then 4,000. We're now down to $2,000, but trust him, it's happening this time. And we're getting to see the new refreshed posts of, well, if you don't like Trump, I guess you'll be turning down your $2,000 checks. Like, can you go check your history where you said this already about a different number he promised? And by the way, as I just mentioned to you, my premium is going up by $106 a month. $106 a month. So of that $2,000, that's $1,200 plus another $72. So $1,272. So $2,000 would be $728. My stimulus check is only $728 if you just adjust for the premium increase that I am paying, which, by the way, I'll be paying that premium increase whether we renew the ACA subsidies or not, unless they do some major adjustment. This is the other funny thing. Open enrollment, doesn't it start November 15th? Let me double check this.
Yes.
So open enrollment, where you are supposed to go and sign up for your health care for next year, to renew or sign up for something new, begins, no, it's already begun, November 1st. November 1st. It's currently going. And if you want your coverage to begin on January 1st, because technically open enrollment goes through December, I think, let me see. Or open enrollment ends on January 15th. Okay?
Okay.
So it ends on January 15th. But if you want your insurance to start on the 1st, where presumably if you are changing or new, that if you don't do that, you have a gap in coverage, a month gap in coverage, a January without coverage. So most people are going to want that. December 15th is when you have to enroll by. They're committing to vote by the 10th, meaning any price, like if the vote goes through, the insurance companies will have 4 days after, obviously, because you'll have that day. You'll need to make sure it passes and gets signed and everything, and Trump doesn't try to do some bullshit. We'll have 4 days to tell everybody what their updated premiums are with the expectations of the ACA subsidies, and for people to then make that decision. And then everybody has to compete to call in or use the online systems in those 4 days, which we all know went really well when with all of the resources of the government, Obamacare was put online. I'm sure that the individual insurance companies will just do excellent with that. Why are we this stupid as a country?
And if somebody like locks in their price now, they would have to try to negotiate it down to whatever the market price would be afterwards, if the subsidies even get renewed. I would be surprised to see if the Republicans actually voted in favor of it.
Yep. All right. We'll talk to Robin in Kentucky. Robin in Kentucky, you're on the line with Jimmy and Ari. Robin, can you hear us? I don't hear Robin.
Hello.
Do we have another sound issue? Is this our side because we were fixing stuff? All right. We'll put you back in the queue. I might have to go see if we had to change a bunch of things this week, and we thought it was all working, but apparently it's not. So we'll go find out. 1 second, Ari.
Okay.
Or Robin. Yes, I'll be back. Also, Ari.
All of the above. We're still figuring this out. That's right, Gary. I'm doing so much over here. Whoop whoop. Anyway, yeah, no, I don't see the thing is when the 8 Democrats, which really one of them is an independent, gosh, what's his name? He even Angus, like he even has an old sounding name, right? Angus is the independent that said, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and vote alongside 7 other Democrats who all are not up for like none of them are up for reelection in 2026, mind you. They're hoping that you have short memories for the, I think it's 5 of them are still currently planning on campaigning again for their 2028 or their 2030 elections. So try not to have a short memory. Okay. Maybe write this down somewhere. Okay. And that's going to be the important thing. But the most of them are all waiting and hoping that you have a short memory, that you're not going to remember who they voted for or what they voted against in 2025 when you go to the ballot box in 2028, 2030. They're hoping you won't remember. But try to have a longer memory than they do. The thing is they just only got an agreement to where they will bring it up to the vote. And also we find out as well that apparently they've added a little something in this continuing resolution about hemp products, which I found the bill and I was planning on looking more into it. Let me see. Well, that was something. That's not it. Okay. Guys, congress.gov is a great resource if you are wanting to look at the actual congressional bills. Let's see. That's not it. This might be it. No, that's not it either. Congress.gov is not fun to dig into, I will say that much. So let me just pop into where I saw that today. We love news. Of course, it was posted on a Colorado website, just so you guys know. I want this. On Monday, Cannabis Business Times confirmed hemp is being targeted as a part of the 3-bill spending package tied to reopening the government. Oh, goodness. And it's coded as intoxicating hemp, which I'd love to get like further into that. Lady, you can call if you agree with the 8 Democrats that folded and voted alongside the Republicans in the Senate to reopen the government, or if you are MAGA and you want to claim that MAGA does indeed support our military members. Let's see.
Or if you want to defend MAGA in any way for any reason. Like if you just think MAGA is good, that Trump is good, that Christian nationalism is good for this country, we'll take it all. You couldn't give us too much if you wanted to. Let's see. That was unnecessarily crass. Let's test this out again. Robin in Kentucky. Robin, are we able to, can you hear us? We hear you. Robin, are you there? This is odd because I definitely just fixed this. So now Why can't Robin? Or Robin's not speaking to us either. Well, this is frustrating.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can always do a test call.
Luthien, will you yeah, that's a good point. Luthien, will you just play any audio in your browser, like off of YouTube or something? Real quick. So the main reason for this, we hit something the other day where Windows updates and stuff has broken a lot of our systems. And so Luxander the other day had it first, and I literally had to manually code a batch reset on certain Windows services to automatically run, because basically after everything loads in, this is all nerd stuff, but Luthien, are you playing an audio? Oh, I don't hear Luthien either. Okay, so this is fun. You hear me, right, Ari?
Yeah, I've heard you this whole time, so we just fixed some things.
BRB again. Things are going great.
We got this. That's all right. I found something else on what I read. So according to Politico, something that John Thune snuck into this new continuing resolution is it's letting senators sue for phone records. So what did it exactly say? Senate Republicans secured a provision in the bipartisan shutdown ending government funding package that could award senators hundreds of thousands of dollars for having their phone records collected without their knowledge as part of a Biden-era investigation. Now, this goes in tandem with the claim that I think everybody saw during the Jack Smith investigation, where they supposedly secured phone records of senators. But now they want to be able to get, I guess, money from it. That legislative language came directly from Senate Majority Leader John Thune in an interview Monday evening. Senator Ted Cruz, of course, Cancun Cruz, who claims he was one of the lawmakers to have his data subpoenaed as part of former special counsel Jack Smith. Listen, if I had just scrolled down a little bit farther, I would have remembered it was Jack Smith without having to remember it, but I remembered it. Into President Donald Trump's effort to subvert the 2020 election, said Thune was responsible for the inclusion of the provision. Leader Thune inserted that in the bill to provide real teeth to the prohibition on the Department of Justice targeting senators. He secured phone records of senators, but now they want to be able to get, I guess. I heard that. I would assume that means everyone else heard it too. Mind you guys, if they sue and they win a lawsuit against the Justice Department, that's taxpayer money that's paying back the senators or the congressmen and women that sue. It's always taxpayer money. Very similar to the $213 million lawsuit that I do. It sounds like the voice in my head, and I don't like that.
All right, let's try this. I'm gonna do the test call first.
Okay.
Before we try and anyway, MAGA, I mean, you have some tech things in your favor. Who knows how far you could get with us?
Hello.
Yep.
Hi. All right, we're good. Let's do this shit. Okay. Robin in Kentucky, you are on the line, trying this one more time. On the line with Jimmy and Ari. Robin, how are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me now?
Sure
Yes.
can.
Oh, goody.
Yes. All right, what do you have for us, Robin?
Okay. I didn't catch your other host's name. I'm sorry.
Ari?
Okay, Ari. Thank you. I called in. Of course, I'm on the Democratic side, and I'm an atheist. But I was kind of upset too over this until I started listening. Of course, she just mentioned that one thing that they added in on it that I didn't know about. That kind of sucks. But they did get the SNAP funded like for 2 years, I didn't know if y'all had talked about this or not. So it'll like if another shutdown happens, SNAP will be not in that not involved in that for at least 2 years. And it's just till January the funding is, and so they're going to have to do all this again in January. Well, I don't know. I kind of am wishy-washy on whether I agree with it or not because I don't think that the Republicans are going to probably give too much on the health care, like just for this shutdown. I think they were willing to let people go hungry for it. Didn't matter. And so,
and
like,
keep in mind, too, I think Democrats want you to forget about the $1.5 trillion Medicaid, Medicare funds that they were anchoring to. And they just want you to think that it was just about the ACA now, because they also gave up on that. So are you calling in saying they still did a good thing, or that they did get concessions and we're not giving them credit for it? Or what is your, because I'm not giving them credit for concessions when almost every concession that is significant was offered with the first sets of negotiations 40 days ago. So if we're talking about concessions as far as like what they actually got, everything else from there is minor or traditional, like very expected, like back pay for the federal workers and shit like that. Because you would destroy the economy very quickly if suddenly a huge portion of the workforce just didn't get that money returned when they already are hurting. So what little adjustments are made to look like are just that. They aren't significant. Any promise on a vote, but not how the vote will go, is not a concession.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I was pretty upset by it because I felt like that it seemed like that even they weren't selling they weren't selling the Democrats being at fault to the public. So they had a lot of support. Democrats did. And,
yeah, it's because the leader can't get out of his own fucking way. Chuck Schumer thinks he should be the spokesperson, and he has all of the charisma of drywall. When Chuck Schumer speaks, no one feels a sense of being heard. No one feels a sense of, this guy gets it. They feel a sense of grandpa's a little bit cranky and maybe needs a little extra Robitussin to get into bed tonight.
It's stop voting in old people.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't know. I didn't know that was a extending SNAP for 2 years. Like, so, because I know in January, this funding resolution is going to expire. Like, they're going to have to do this again in January. So it's only like 2 months.
27, right?
Yeah, it's a 2-year.
I thought it was
I think this is a stopgap funding bill only until, I want to say January 20th of 26. But the SNAP benefits are paid out for the next, guaranteed for 2 years.
Yeah, next 2 years. Like, and I don't know, was that in the original concession thing?
That wasn't even in question, actually. That's the biggest thing. Like, SNAP benefits was never even a question on whether it was going to get funded or not. Even the contingency fund that USDA has, that was already previously funded and is actively always funded a little bit out of each appropriations bill by Congress to make sure, in case there is a government shutdown, funds can still be paid out. That's why we saw that there was no delay or no hiccups under the last government shutdown from December 2018 going into January 2019 of SNAP benefits being paid out, because that's always been a thing that happens. It's just in this one instance, Donald Trump is the one that told his Department of Agriculture, Secretary of Agriculture, don't pay out SNAP benefits.
I'm curious where y'all are getting the SNAP is extended for 2 years. I'm seeing it still running out as January 30th.
Let's see.
I can't find it. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I can't find what you're describing.
I still can't find the text of the bill, which is why I also hate news media for not giving me the HR or the Senate bill number, because I want to read the text of the bill.
To quote the absolutely illustrious and prolific Nancy Pelosi, you'll just have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. These fucking assholes.
Is that seriously? I hate Nancy Pelosi for a reason.
Everyone does. It's like, of course, if we have to do, once she's out of Congress, go make the super feel good biopic about her. Go make the thing about the glass ceiling she broke. It's kind of like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, but maybe limit your response. I love that Mom Donnie won the mayoral race in New York City. But let's also make sure we understand that that's New York City, and you know, I don't know. There's limit your excitement. Anyway,
I know. I'm getting it from freaking Angus King. That's something that he was talking about on the interviews he was doing, and then one of the what's that woman's name? It's from the senators themselves speaking about why they voted to pass it.
Okay, I want to see if I can find the bill itself, and then I'm going to give it to Claude, and I'm going to ask Claude to confirm where it is located in the bill, because I obviously very, very important that we see. This is definitely not the right one. This is the one from latest action. Yeah, so that's not the right one.
Yeah, if you pull up 5371 S2882 or 5450, those were the ones that they were all debating previously. So not those.
Is that text even published yet, or are we just believing them?
They have 3 days to publish it.
So it might not be out till the weekend, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Is it 3 days to publish from when the Senate passes, the House passes, or when it becomes law?
It's supposed to be 3 days once a bill is introduced.
Okay.
So that would have been on Sunday, technically.
Yeah. What? Okay. Anyway, did you have any other questions, Robin?
No, that was all. I don't know. That kind of made me think about maybe again. I don't know. I'm not a political person, or I'm political, but I'm not a politician. I don't know. Sometimes it works out when they play the cards the way they do, and sometimes it don't. But
yeah,
I know that people were hurting without SNAP. But
yeah,
thank y'all for what you do.
You're trading a short-term feel better for which, by the way, hurting without SNAP was 100% a choice of the president. He had the discretionary funds to do it. Even Josh Hawley, the Republican, who had a proposal for keeping SNAP funded totally separate from the other stuff. So the Republicans, regardless of who you want to blame for the shutdown, SNAP can only be blamed on the Republicans, because Leader Thune could have passed the Keep SNAP Funded Act by his guy Josh Hawley anytime, and the House could have passed that anytime. They are the only people you can blame for the SNAP thing. And so at this point, to literally be like, hey, this obvious basic bottom of the barrel doesn't even do enough welfare thing that we absolutely need because our current economy has become so, it fucks over the working class so much. And the idea that people have about who's on SNAP is completely wrong, because most of people on SNAP are working, and you're actually subsidizing the fact that they're not getting paid enough by their billionaire employers. Anyway, I do digress. I agree. It is 100% their shit. And so right now it's like, okay, basically we're conceding on a much larger hurt that is going to wreck more people, and the making sure that we end up back here again next year. We're making sure all of that shit's going to happen, so that
I agree.
Trump will like actually feed people. It's absolutely wild. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Robin. We'll talk to you another time.
Bye, Robin. I did find it. They just added amendments to 5371. So
5371.
Yeah, HR 5371. The text is available, and I can send that. That's where I'm trying to find it in the bill right now. Yay, hotkeys. But
hey, we would like somebody to call MAGA who can actually represent, because the only person on hold right now is an actual fucking sociopath who thinks that illegal immigrants should die if they go to the ER, and that if they're there unconscious, you'll be able to tell by looking at them whether they are a citizen. That was what this individual said on Sunday. So we would love it. I surely, MAGA, this won't be the best you have. Surely this won't do it.
Page 96, it looks like. Funds available for the Food and Nutrition Supplement Act of 2008 shall remain available through September 30th, 2027.
September 30th, 2027. Okay. Well, that's good. At least it'll be the next full, and they can't use it as a political piece in next year's election, though maybe the Republicans did that on purpose.
Oh gosh. And then he updates his little tag. That's horrible. It's a massive success. No, it's not. It's not. Oh my God.
Andrew in New Jersey, you absolute fucking sociopathic piece of garbage. Why would you even call back? What is it about this that you like being exposed as the 19-year-old incel piece of actual fucking shit who actually in the last show said if I showed up unconscious, they'd be able to tell by looking at me that I'm a citizen because they'd be able to tell I'm not an illegal Haitian immigrant. Because even though I'm a black guy, they'd be able to tell I'm an American citizen, even if I don't have ID on me. Why would you come back for this kind of punishment? You just look like fucking shit every time because you are genuinely a piece of absolute dog shit. Has one person in the comments, I don't even think MAGA is on your side. I think you call in and MAGA's like, oh my God, please stop platforming this piece of shit. We don't claim him.
Yeah, they're going way off.
Okay, look, listen. I'm willing to change my position.
No, you aren't.
No, I don't think it's right for. Yes, I am. I'm changing my position now.
Go ahead.
I don't think that is right for. Yeah, I don't think that is right for people to, die in the streets and all that other stuff. I concede on that point.
So illegal immigrants should receive health care if they go to the emergency room, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yeah.
So what changed your mind between yesterday and today? And why would somebody who apparently has such fickle, unsupported things that like you could change that much, why should we give a shit about your opinions?
What do you mean? I'm changing my position. That should be enough.
You're changing your for today. What's your position fucking tomorrow, Andrew? We've had how many dozens of conversations on this channel with you. You're a fucking sexist pig. You think women need to basically be in a position of servitude. You think that their value is what they can do to you or for you. And like we've gone through all of these things, but yesterday you finally got so sufficiently embarrassed. You're changing in the course of 24 hours, your position on one thing. Why should I assume that tomorrow you'll still hold that one? If you hear Donald Trump go up there and go, a great way we could do this, we could just put an RFID tag inside your skid. What we'll just do is put a little NFC tag under your skid, and then they'll be able to just scan your arm. They'll see that you're a legal citizen. It's called legal. And then they will give you care based on that. You'd fucking eat it up if Trump came out with that. You'd be like, actually, that solves my issue. Give me the mark of the beast, bitch.
Okay, how about this? If I change my position, hold on. Okay, how about this? If I change my position back to the one that I had, you can hang up on me and never accept any calls from me ever again.
Andrew, I can do that anytime I want. We don't have to make that deal. I can block you anytime I want. Why would I need to make that deal? I'm asking you why on our end we've had this many calls with you and I should go, this is the day it will be productive.
I just had to change her heart. I just want to move forward. I just had to change her heart.
What brought on your change of heart? Can you?
I don't want people to die in the streets. There we go. No, I don't want people to die.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Are you aware that there are laws in plenty of northern states where if somebody is past due on their electricity bill, that electric companies can't turn off the heat in the winter?
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do you think that that's something that should be in existence?
No, you shouldn't turn off people's heat.
Okay. I guess he has some modicum of morality.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Hold on.
All he needs to hear is a Republican tell him that's wrong, and that the southern states they're more right, because this is how Andrew would come back with this a week from now. He'd be like, no, those people need to go work because it's just a bunch of lazy people out there, and they need to go work and they need to go pay for their electric bill. And so, you know what? If you just pay their electric bills anyway, now they're not going to work because you're already paying their shit. That's how Andrew reasons.
I will
Tell me
say,
I'm wrong, Andrew.
Are you wait? So people, okay? She said that should people's heat be turned off in the winter time? No. Okay. So should
if they haven't paid, specifically if they haven't paid their electric bill, should their electricity be turned off?
They're on final notice.
Haven't paid for how long though? Haven't paid for how long?
Final notice. So that would be for like all of winter time, probably 2 months prior. So
they shouldn't pay their electric bills for none of the winter? What about any other bills? So they pay their rent? Because we don't want people in the streets. So they not pay their rent too?
See,
there's
Andrew,
a legal process for that. I like how he.
Ari, I told you. His position isn't actually that's good. He'll have the reason, hey, Andrew, I'm going to blow your fucking mind. We should have public housing that's totally free for people who can't afford other housing.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely, there should be rent-free options to live. The government. America will, Andrew.
Should shoes be free? Can't have people walking barefoot. Should we get free Jordans to people? What about a man?
Excuse me. Why did you just move the fucking goalpost? Free Jordans? No. But should you be able to, by the way, right now you probably can get free shoes or extremely low cost shoes from different government subsidized charities. So yes, there should be free shoes. There should be free clothes. Okay. There should be free healthcare. There should be anything that is a necessity should not be commodified. Now, if you want Jordans, you want to add luxury to your necessity.
That's different. You would pay for that.
That you can commodify.
Anything in excess, you would like. You would do the bare minimum. Okay, this is a 99% cotton shirt that you could typically buy at Walmart for like $6. Yeah, that could be given to you for free. If you want a fucking Michael Kors purse, then no, you're gonna pay for that yourself. Like, be realistic.
So you're saying that you make all this stuff free. Everything should be free. Free buses, free all this stuff.
Hell yeah,
and
free buses.
Who do you want to tax? Okay, who do you want to tax for this?
Americans.
I don't know if you realize this. Are you familiar with the state of Florida at all, Andrew?
I'm not familiar with all of Florida. I don't live in Florida, so I don't know.
That's what she asked you. She was actually going to ask you, like, what is the store on the corner of First and Main in Sebring, Florida? She was going to ask you that.
Yeah, I was going to really dig into it. So no, are you aware that Florida has no state income tax?
Okay.
And then there are plenty of counties within the state of Florida that offer free public transportation. You just have to call a number and they'll pick you up.
Okay, but who pays for the free transportation in Florida?
Oh, that comes out of their sales tax. That is actually not that high.
So what's Florida's sales tax?
Depends on the county. I can look up some counties if you want.
Andrew, name one Florida county and she'll look up that one.
I don't know any Florida county.
Yeah, I know you don't.
I
don't live in Florida. I'm in New Jersey.
I know. Every single call of you is you weaponizing your ignorance.
Here, we'll just pull one. 7%. The state sales tax is 6%. So they only add an additional 1% to keep in fund public transportation in this county. But don't worry,
they'll lose that once the property taxes also, because once the property taxes get taken, that sales tax money is going to have to go to pay for other shit. So don't worry, Andrew. Ron DeSantis, who fucking just loves billionaires so much, is going to make sure that poor people don't have access to the funding to make sure they can get to work. You know, that thing they care about. You got to get a job. We're not going to get you to the job. And if you weren't born with bootstraps, we're just going to beat you with ours. But anyway, we're going to actually take that away so rich people can have more money and their property tax. You know, look, guys, they let them have their mansions tax free. They paid when they bought it.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I just wanted to talk about Trump's immigration. I don't. That's the
How
only
about
thing I
we
wanted
talk
to talk about.
about
Like how
let's throw you a curveball. Let's throw
We've
you a
literally
curveball.
gone I do think it's funny that he's sitting there though and blaming us. We went everywhere you took it, and you're like, "Why, guys? I called it about immigration.
no,
Why are we talking about this?"
That's not
no,
even what
because
the topic
you
of the
brought up
live
what I.
is.
Hold on,
No, he
yes,
was
it is. That's
bringing
what I
up your
called
shit
for. See,
takes. He was bringing up your shit takes.
no,
This
yeah,
isn't even what you voted for.
yeah,
Did
I
you
didn't.
literally vote for cruelty?
Yes, he did. No, and
No,
that is what I did.
I voted for. I voted for Trump based on immigration. That was the main thing I voted for.
Did you
Mhm.
vote for cruelty?
No, I didn't vote for cruelty.
So did you support Donald Trump when he sent 270, actually only 238, 270 individuals to CCOT, the torture prison in El
200.
Salvador? 270
Yeah,
individuals.
who are these individuals that he sent there?
Oh, they were all, according to him, gang members, but only 32 of them had criminal records in any country, anywhere.
So what were the names of these guys? How many? You said
Wait,
132
Andrew,
people. How many people you sent?
I have a question. I promise I'll give it right back to Ari. What are the name of the 32 guys is wild. But
No.
Ari told you this is a torture prison. So I guess my question is, who is it that you believe deserves to be in torture prisons?
Valid.
Trinidad Rock or gang members, the MS-13 gang members.
Why would a person who is in MS-13, just for being in it, you don't know what crimes they've committed, but they're affiliated, deserve, again, the word is torture.
Torture.
Well, she didn't tell me if these guys had did literal gang activity.
She actually did. She told you that only 32 of them have any kind of arrest record, that all the rest of the 270 do not. So why would even if those people are affiliated, which we don't even have that information, why would affiliation deserve torture?
No, I'm saying, did they have arrest records here, or did they have arrest records
Literally,
in their home
she
country?
already told you. She already told you. So listen this time.
Anywhere in the world.
No.
They have no.
So they didn't have.
Only 32 in the entirety of all of the countries that we get information from as the United States does their immigration process. Only 32 individuals had arrest or criminal records anywhere in the world, including in the United States of America. Only 32. So 238 were sent there not being criminals.
So so the government knows that these people are gang members, or do they know?
No, they don't know.
They might not have any.
They've
Just
asserted.
sent random people there.
Could be.
So they didn't have the intelligence or nothing. They just said, we just want to swoop up these people and just
correct. They might have intelligence, but they have not gone through due process. We've already seen it. Donald Trump photoshopped MS-13 onto a person's hands and then said it wasn't Photoshop, even though not even Photoshop. It looked like the Microsoft Word, like they imported a photo.
Like Times New, it's Arial font. That's what he used. Like, come on, guys. We used that font in high school.
32. Okay.
Andrew, Andrew, you don't get to talk over me. Andrew, when have you ever succeeded at talking over me? And I'm going to direct this somewhere actually useful, because where you take it is always just pedantic, unmitigated bullshit.
No,
and further shows your sociopathy. Hey, Andrew, let's say that every one of these individuals have an I love MS-13 tattoo on their body. They go, MS-13 is my shit. I love them. Do people with that tattoo deserve to be tortured?
If you have MS-13 gang symbols on your body?
No.
The tattoo says, I love MS-13. Do they deserve to be tortured?
I don't know about torture, but they should be go away.
Great. So could you go ahead and answer? Do they deserve to be tortured? Yes or no?
I don't know if they're being tortured. I'm not down in the prison.
Why are you so okay?
He
Donald
can't
Trump
answer.
said 270 individuals, of which only 12%. I gave you an easy number originally, but we'll just make this an even smaller number. 12% had any criminal records. He sent 270 individuals to a well-known torture prison in El Salvador, where Bukele, the president of El Salvador, brags about the fact that no one has ever left that prison alive.
Yeah, okay. Then
Do you support that?
I'll just
Yes or
say,
no?
if you say I heart MS-13 and Trente Aragua, then I don't care what happens to you at that point. Screw it.
And then, great, you're a sociopath, Andrew.
You're fucking
Because
crazy.
guess what? They don't even have,
Okay.
Andrew, they don't even have that level of evidence. They don't have,
Yeah.
Andrew, you're a black man in New Jersey. Andrew, shut up for a second. You're a black man in New Jersey. If you go to the apartment complex where known MS-13 people are and leave that apartment complex because you went and bought something off Craigslist, you conceivably can get scooped up, detained by ICE, and moved somewhere before your citizenship is verified because they are bypassing due process. So none of these people have those tattoos. Right. They're literally, they don't care. Last time you were like, well, I don't look like a Haitian illegal immigrant, so that'll work. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't. You are literally at risk because of these immigration policies that you call, you fucking sociopath, a massive success. Please, MAGA, one of you is listening right now, and you can do better than this guy. This is who you want to represent you. You guys are so brave on keyboards. You're so brave on threads. Where the fuck are you right now is what I need to know. Where is the MAGA person who can... Hold on.
I want to let you know. I want to let you know, Andrew.
Your side literally didn't care about the death of Charlie Kirk, and you want me to care about MS-13 gang members? Screw that.
I don't know who that is. Yeah, I am unaware of who that is.
You want me to care about the torture? Yeah, you want me to care about the torture of MS-13 gang members, but what happened to Charlie Kirk, your side made all TikTok videos.
Great. So everybody, just so you all know, this is called a red herring fallacy and a straw man. Because I did care about the death of Charlie Kirk. However, it wasn't Charlie I cared about. I definitely cared about the repercussions and how much it increased tensions and decreased them having to pretend to care. The other side, the virtue signaling becomes harder at that point. But anyway, I muted Andrew for a moment to go ahead and correct this because we've already told him they aren't MS-13 gang members. They are just people with essentially light accusations. They don't have those tattoos on. And he is saying that torture is justified for that because, quote unquote, our side. Andrew, I am a political figure, technically. I'm a politically engaged public figure. Don't sit there and pretend that if I get shot in the neck, you're going to lose a wink of sleep over it. And not with the way that I support women and trans people. You're going to be a little bit stoked. Shut the fuck up.
And not only that, like one of the qualifications, one of their you're a gang members is wearing a Chicago Bulls hoodie. I saw a very, very white man in Publix yesterday wearing a Chicago Bulls hoodie who also happens to be enlisted military. Should we also deport him as a suspected MS-13 gang member because he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hoodie?
There you go, Andrew. You're unmuted.
No, you shouldn't deport him if he's wearing you shouldn't deport him if he's wearing just a Chicago Bulls hoodie. But that wasn't your example.
One of the qualifications. That's literally one of the qualifications according to the Department of Homeland Security on their little check, like their little worksheet that they check boxes on. That says that makes somebody an MS-13 gang member is wearing a Chicago Bulls tattoo.
Well, no, that wasn't their only qualification. You also have the Trente Aragua. They have the crown tattoos. They have the train tattoos. Some of them have MS-13 literally written on their body.
I don't know about this. So the tattoos that they showed, right, was one of a marijuana leaf, right, the leafy green.
The marijuana leaf is another one.
Right. A smiling that looks like Dead Mouse, right, the Canadian singer Dead Mouse, and a cross and a skull. So, and then on top of that, they wrote out MS-13 in font, right? So my partner has a tattoo of a skull with the numbers 1-3 written in it, that must mean he's MS-13, right?
What'd you say? Say it again.
My partner has a tattoo of a skull wearing a beanie with the numbers 13 written inside of it, so that must mean he's MS-13, right?
No.
He also owns a Chicago Bulls hoodie.
Okay. Does he
So
have
is he
MS-13
MS-13?
tattoos? Does he have MS-13
Well, according
tattoos?
to those pictures, yeah, he's got a skull on him and with the number 13 in it.
No, I'm talking about, does he have MS-13? Because you know the pictures when they have MS-13.
She already answered you. According to their guidelines, he does. The guidelines would accept that he does, even though he doesn't.
So your boyfriend had the Chicago Bulls hat, the Chicago skull, and he had 13 on it with the marijuana leaf.
No, he didn't have a marijuana leaf.
So you said
Nor
he
did
had
he have a
all that
cross.
except the marijuana leaf.
No.
Correct.
Okay, he
Yeah,
didn't
he
have
has
no
the skull and 13.
Okay.
He has the skull and 13
Well, no,
Oh, and the skull is smiling.
yeah. The smiling is where the letter S comes in.
Yep.
So it's in the same position like it is on his knuckles where it had the skull and then he had like the 1 and the 3.
Andrew, it's hilarious that you think any of this matters. What if I go get an MS-13 tattoo today just to be funny, to be like, haha, fuck off. I deserve to be tortured? Hang on, I'm going to write MS.
To be tortured.
I'm writing MS-13
ha,
on my tablet. Here we go. It's on my tablet. Do we deport the tablet?
Absolutely. That tablet needs to get burned.
It's more gray than white, so I could see you wanting it to.
No.
Andrew, you're such a fucking piece of shit, dude. You're literally like, you just come in here and you just yell. I don't care, dude. I'm like, what's even the point? What's even the fucking point? We don't, MAGA, is this the best you have? Is that the best you have? He thinks immigration's policy has been wildly successful. Okay?
I think
I don't, but he doesn't know what the policy is.
I don't know if you can read that.
I don't, it's not focusing on it. Emotional
It's
support
not at
something.
all. Yeah. It's an emotional support dumpster fire. This is Andrew. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Well, the world is on fire.
Hey, Andrew, do women deserve to be in the workforce? Or should they stay at home and raise kids?
My personal belief, I think they should raise the kids and stay at home. That's what I believe.
Is that what, do you vote on those beliefs? If you could vote to make that the law, would you?
No, because it would violate the Constitution.
Well, you're already violating the Constitution for immigration by bypassing due process. So when has violating the Constitution ever stopped you, Andrew?
No, there's some ways where you don't need due process. I can read it.
No, there isn't, Andrew. No, there isn't. There is 0 ways you don't need due process, because if you don't need due process ever, then no one has it. The point of due process is everyone must have it or no one has it. No, there isn't.
There is only one law that just lets them. There's only one law when it comes to immigration. It's 8 U.S. Code 1227, where if you're found within 100 miles of the border and you don't have paperwork, they're allowed to hold you until you can prove you're there, and then they can deport you. But that still doesn't mean that they are not getting some form of due process, because they still get a chance to prove who they are.
That's still literally still a form of due process. We're talking about all of the bypassing of due process, not actually going through the effort to make sure people are here, whether or not they are here illegally, and whether or not they deserve to be deported to a fucking torture prison. Which, by the way, Andrew, spoiler alert. Hey, Andrew, real quick, spoiler alert. We literally don't sentence anyone to torture. In America, we don't even sentence torturers to torture. Literally, we are exporting to other countries. Yes, unfortunately, we do sentence people to death. And whether or not people deserve to die is a different question about whether or not the government should have the power to kill its own citizens. Completely different conversation.
Do you know what the 8th Amendment is, Andrew? Andrew, do you know what the 8th Amendment is? Andrew, what's the 8th Amendment of the United States Constitution?
Read it to me.
Oh, that's where it talks about cruel and unusual punishment, and specifically about torture. So the very fact that we sent 270 individuals to a torture prison, and then the president of Bukele came out later and said that they were always under the direct authority of the United States of America, is a direct violation of the Eighth Amendment of the United States Constitution, because they were under our authority even though they were in El Salvador.
Okay. Can I please ask you a question?
Sure, after you answer mine. If I get Charlie Kirked one day, will it really bother you?
Yes, it would.
I don't think so. In fact, I'm making sure I've left written instructions that they question you first.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I think you're more likely to be the guy than to be sad about it by a large margin.
No, I'm not an insane leftist who makes TikTok
No, you're a
videos
Republican raised with the identity that guns solve problems. That's why right-wing violence is so much more rampant. See, there you go, Andrew. You're from the side that glorifies guns.
If I shoot somebody breaking into my house, problem solved.
Sure, and I also, if you see somebody breaking into a closed business where nobody is in any kind of danger, you can just kill that guy too, right?
If I'm the business owner, yeah, you break into my business, you get
No,
shot.
no, you're not in there. I'm saying from the outside, no danger to you. Is it okay to kill a person to protect property? Let's say no one's in a building, you know that's for sure, and there's someone's going to burn it down. Do you believe it's okay to shoot the person who's going to burn down the building to prevent them from burning down an empty building?
Yeah, well, you said a business or an empty building.
Empty building. It's your building. Andrew, you buy an office building. It's beautiful. And right now, you know it's empty because it's actually being fumigated. And it's nighttime, and somebody who hates you, Andrew, is coming, and they're going to burn it down. And you hear they're going to burn it down. And so you show up, you see him, he's about to light the match. He's already put the kerosene on. Do you believe it is okay for you to then lift a gun and kill the person to prevent them from burning down your building?
Yeah, they're trying to burn down my building.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, Andrew. Yeah, yes.
How's that ridiculous?
Think that because one, as a business owner, you should have insurance. So what the fuck are you worried about if I'm going to play the capitalism game with you? But two, people have more value than buildings do. There is not a building on the planet that should have inherently more value than the person. And the person who's burning down the building is most likely there for reasons beyond even their control. You're sitting there going, I don't want any due process for that guy. Let's not find out if he's having a mental breakdown. Let's not find out if he's a victim from a system that held him into poverty and then pushed him into drug use. Let's not find out where all of this shit came from. That person who's going to burn down buildings should be separated from society, because while you know that building's empty, you don't know that he's not going to fuck it up sometime. But kill him? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, Andrew, this is the whole point. MAGA, this is the best you have, is the guy who was outwardly saying, even if you account for all of that, that man should die before my insured building burns down. Even uninsured. Also, a man should die over a building. Jesus Christ, MAGA.
By the way, Andrew, if you did that, you would 100% be charged with at minimum manslaughter, because it's not covered by any statute anywhere in the entirety of the United States of America, where if you shoot an unarmed person because they are breaking into property but no one's life is inherently in danger, sir, no. You will literally be charged with manslaughter at minimum. Probably second-degree murder.
Okay, so
property is not covered under self-defense.
Okay, lady. So if somebody's trying to burn down your house without you
I'm a woman. Thank you.
If somebody's trying to burn down your house without you in it, you're not gonna, you got a gun, you're just like, oh yeah, go ahead and burn my house down.
I might shoot in their general direction, but I'm not going to kill somebody because, again, like, I have property insurance. Everything inside my house is insured.
Then the house burns.
Then the house burns. Also, 911 exists. Like, I will call.
Andrew, the fact that you think that you're the normal one, that you're sitting there going, if I killed a man that wasn't putting my life in danger, I'd sleep fine after that because I saved my PlayStation, is what I mean when I say you're a fucking sociopath. that you think that you're the normal one who goes blow their brains into the wall, even though they are zero danger to me. Instead of doing preventive, you can call the police at that point, call the fire department in case the fire gets going, whatever else. You're going, nah, paint the walls red with his blood. And by the way, you have to clean those brains up, right? The state doesn't do it. The police don't clean that up. So you will get to sit there and clean the brains off of your wall and just go like, well, I mean, I was going to lose my PlayStation.
You have to pay somebody for that, or do it yourself very poorly. Also, just so you know, like, that happening in your house decreases your house value if you ever go to resell it, so good luck with that. That's
Andrew, go
assuming
ahead.
you even get off on the charge.
Make it about how I'm white. Go ahead, Andrew. You're literal, I'm white, and yet you're the white supremacist. So go on, buddy.
Yeah, white people let black jobs burn down their property, and all because they thought
what are black jobs?
Black folks.
White people let black jobs burn down their property. Is that what you said?
Yeah. What are black jobs?
I said white people let black jobs.
You said black jobs. What are black jobs?
Hey, Andrew. First of all, I don't know why you're in a fucking wind tunnel. That's fucking crazy. But second of all, Andrew,
hurricanes in New Jersey.
The dichotomy isn't let somebody or murder them. We're not saying if you're capable, don't do anything to intervene. We're not saying don't use even pepper spray, a taser, whatever else. We're saying don't fucking kill them. That them being dead is worse than your house burning down. Every dollar being stolen from your bank account, them being dead is worse than that.
Absolutely not. I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
I know you do. I know, Andrew, because you think that inanimate objects can have more value than a literal sentient human being. And yet, Andrew, how do you feel about abortion?
How do I feel about abortion?
Yeah, should abortion be legal?
Yeah, I think abortion is evil.
Great. So you're saying that a person who can think and is sentient, their life is worth less than a compilation of bricks, but then take a different person who is sentient and they have a non-sentient parasitic entity in their body subsisting off of them that they would like to rid themselves of. That thing has never achieved sentience, is not aware it's ever been alive, will never be aware it was ever alive, will experience no sense of loss ever, and no sense of a life to wish to continue. And that person's evil for terminating the subsistence of their parasite. But the dude who blows the brains out of somebody over some bricks and their porn machine, that guy, that dude's based as fuck, and that woman's a little fucking bitch. Because here's what it is, Andrew. You care about what slows you down and what affects your fucking life and literally nobody else. You are the parasite in the womb in this case. And society should abort your ideology. Good luck to you, sir. May whatever God you believe in have mercy on your soul. It doesn't exist. Eat my ass. It's ass flavored.
And that is an example of a post-birth abortion.
I just aborted you from the call. Is what I did. Fucking Christ. He would perform abortions in the 50th trimester if they were going to steal his porn machine.
Oh, God.
I believe Andrew pretends to not watch porn. Can't remember, though, for sure.
Oh, he definitely does, though.
Andrew was watching porn while we were doing the call. Like, let's be real.
Andrew's
got a laptop with porn up, a PlayStation with Call of Duty on, and he's on the phone. Like, that's what's going on. All right. Tyler in Minnesota is about to find out. Tyler in Minnesota, you're on the line with Jimmy and Ari, and the assertion that you have here in the notes is completely incorrect. So I'm assuming you got it wrong when you said it to the screener. So go ahead and give us to your position.
Well, I just heard you guys talking a lot about immigrant rights.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, if we're also talking about illegals, they're not even immigrants.
Wait. Let's go with illegal. If you're going to insist on illegal, at least add the word immigrants to it. Just the word illegals in. I mean, you're an illegal,
well,
Tyler.
How about I add the word criminal to it?
Yeah, actually, I love that one. Can we go with that?
By the way, you're an illegal criminal citizen as well. You've ever sped, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm a citizen, sir.
Yeah, great.
No,
you're an
but
illegal
Criminals who come here
criminal
illegally
citizen.
aren't afforded the same rights as citizens, sir.
Oh,
They
I
are-
love this claim.
Explain to me.
Yeah.
Explain to me how
We're
a
going to, Tyler. Ari's
person
going to
who comes
explain
here
to you.
illegally, who is not a
Mhm.
citizen, is
Uh-huh.
afforded the same rights as citizens.
Great.
Explain
Yeah.
to me
We're
that,
going
sir.
to. Go ahead.
Let me just make sure. I got to set a baseline real quick, so please forgive me here. You're familiar with the United States Constitution?
No.
Sure. Yep.
Are you
you're
also
not.
familiar with the United States Supreme Court, the highest court of the land?
hmm
Okay, stop me if any of these cases sound familiar to you. Arizona v. United States 2012. Wick Woo v.
I'm not
Hopkins
going to be familiar
1886.
with.
Okay,
not gonna be
Wong
familiar
Wing
with
v.
you.
None of them? Okay, so specifically, I love the claim that illegal immigrants are criminals, right? I love that claim. So Arizona v. United States Supreme Court decision issued in 2012 is what actually determined that just being here illegally and being considered deportable does not make someone a criminal. Do you know what requires someone to be a criminal according to our legal justice system?
Breaking the laws.
No, still incorrect.
Oh, okay. So breaking laws does not make you a criminal. You
No,
need
it
to be
does not.
convicted
Not
of them?
according to the United States. Yes, you would have to be convicted because, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm not, so you shouldn't be trying to correct me here. But our legal justice system runs on innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah, and our laws
Fantastic.
apply
So
to
they're not
citizens,
criminals. I
right?
appreciate that. Oh, incorrect.
Do I-
Again, so now the other cases that I
Does that
would
law
love
not
to go
apply
ahead
to
and go over with
citizens,
you
ma'am?
is
Ma'am?
Wick Woo.
Ma'am, can I
Wick
stop
Woo.
you? Can I
No,
stop
you
you and
can't.
ask
You can
a question,
try.
ma'am?
You can try.
No, you can't. You can't. I've
Wick
muted
Woo
you.
v-
Ari will tell you when you can speak. She will benevolently give you permission, and you'll be a good little boy and wait your turn.
Good little boy. So we have Wick Woo v. Hopkins, which was decided in 1886, which decided that under the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution, all individuals are awarded the right to due process per the Fifth Amendment because it doesn't say citizens, it says all persons. Wong Wee v. United States decided 10 years later, 1896, same thing. Matthews v. Eldridge, 1976. Landon v. Palencia, 1982. Reno v. Flores, 1993. And Zavadias v. Davis, 2001, reasserted the Fifth Amendment claim, added on the 14th Amendment claim because once again, it says all persons are awarded due process according to the United States Constitution.
All right,
Now
we're going to
you're able
unmute you,
to-
Tyler, and you will. Yes, Ari has granted you permission to speak.
All citizens?
All persons.
Excuse me?
All persons. Do I need to pull up and read verbatim the Fifth Amendment of the United States
that's somebody in
Constitution? Because I
China?
will.
Correct.
So that's somebody
people
in
in
China.
People in China also
Are
deserve due
afforded the
process.
same rights as American citizens.
Which
When they're in
which
America,
last
buddy.
name
In China right
here?
now.
Here, let me try
China.
this.
So if you're
Which
sitting in
last name
China right
here?
now, you're
Hey, I know
you're
you're
afforded
caught
the
up
same
on
rights
two
as
last
American
names.
citizens. That's
Pookie
excellent.
Pie. Pookie
That's
Pie.
excellent for
You're
them
caught
over
up
there.
on
I wonder how that's
two last names.
So
Okay,
we've
you're
had to
caught up on
mute.
two last
We've had to
names.
mute Tyler again because Tyler wants to just say dumb shit like so. And by the way, yes,
So
a
dumb.
person in China still has a right to due process when they are in America. Everybody on the planet, everybody, they can be on Mars right now. And I wish
Yeah.
Elon would go there. They actually have a right to due process in America, should America accuse them of anything, despite where they are now. So you are quite correct, Tyler. Yes, everybody everywhere has a right to due process, no matter where they are or where they are from. And I'm going to prove to you, Tyler, that you actually support that after you're done with Ari. It's actually not going to be hard.
And I am curious, like, so Tyler, and you get to answer this one, but what last name is the foreign last name in Matthews v. Eldridge? What's the foreign last name
Hello?
in Matthews v. Eldridge?
Matthews
Matthews
I
v.
don't know any-
Eldridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not,
because see,
I'm
you
not
got
familiar with.
so hung up. So here's the thing: you got so hung up on the fact that someone's last name was Asian. You don't even know what country it's from. By the way, there's
I
a lot more
I didn't
countries
hear what
than
you,
just
I didn't hear
China
what
and
you were
Asia.
saying.
Okay,
didn't
that
hear what
sounds
you
like
were
a
saying.
personal problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and help you out here. We're gonna go ahead. Just we're going to read verbatim the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense twice to be put in jeopardy of life, limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Which part do you not understand?
So which part of that entails everybody and everybody? I thought that
No
Constitution
person.
was for American
The first
citizens.
two words.
That
first two
Constitution
words
was written for American citizens.
I don't, sir. Actually,
not?
wasn't.
You were
I don't know
wrong.
if you realize
not
this.
the American
The
Constitution?
preamble. See, citizen is always
Well, hold on a
always
second,
a
though. Is that the
consideration
American
within the
Constitution or the
United
Chinese?
States. This is literally the
Mexican
United States
Constitution you were just reading?
Constitution. Are you dumb?
Whose Constitution was it? The
Tyler,
United States?
Tyler.
Yeah,
Hey, Tyler.
okay.
Tyler,
if you
I
come
know
here from a
you're
different
more
country, which
likely to be
country are you
quiet.
from? Are you from
Tyler,
the United States
Tyler,
or from your country of origin?
Tyler, do we have to mute you every
Can you answer
time,
my
or are you
question?
just going to? All right,
Can you
I'm
answer
going to
my
mute
question?
you. We've answered it like 7 goddamn times, you fucking
many times.
redacted son of a bitch. And I'm calling your mother a bitch right now. What are you going to do about it? Fuck you in your fucking dumbass face, Tyler. We've answered it 7 times. It is the U.S. Constitution, but it does not only apply to American citizens. So if you just keep repeating yourself and not listening, go, when are you going to answer my question? When are you going to answer my question? When we already have, because you're so fucking redacted, you can't figure this fucking shit out, how this works. This MAGA. Here's the thing. Here's why I think you're not calling. Here's why I think you're leaving it to people like Andrew and Tyler. I think Tyler is the best you have. This is the best you have. Someone who's going to keep being so fucking wrong, but they're going to repeat themselves into fucking oblivion. And Tyler's just run like the little bitch that he and his mom both are. Fuck you in your fucking face, Tyler. We literally were answering it. We literally answered it multiple times. You couldn't fucking handle it. This is how bad the fucking MAGA cancer brain is. MAGA is a fucking cancer and it is eating you up. It is destroying your ability to think. The answer to whether the Constitution is for America or is it for everyone, it's both. The Constitution grants rights to everyone when you are on their soil or engaged with their legal system. That's why if you have a lawsuit, even with a foreign entity, but they have representation in America, they don't get to do whatever by Chinese law if they're violating American copyright in America. The Constitution and the laws of America apply to everyone, but yes, you don't get to then, if you are in prison somewhere else, go, you can't put me in prison for that. American law says whatever, because that's those countries. They don't respect our Constitution, whether they maybe should or shouldn't. It depends on the country and whether they have a superior Constitution to us or not, a superior set of laws at the very least. The answer is yes.
So dumb.
It's the American Constitution. It's for all people. And here's the reason why. And Tyler ran before we got to this. Here was going to be the interaction. Tyler, you're an illegal immigrant and you're getting deported. No, I'm not. I'm a citizen. No, you're not. Fuck no. What are you going to do about it? You don't have due process because I said you're an illegal immigrant.
Right.
I can prove I'm a citizen. No, you can't. You don't have due process. Proving you're a citizen and don't get deported is due process. You're sitting there saying illegal immigrants don't get it. Well, then you don't get it. I'm saying you're an illegal immigrant. We're deporting you, Tyler. You're fucking out of here. You're gonzo. You're bye-bye, because there's no due process. You don't get an opportunity to prove it. You're out. Goodbye. Fucking Christ, these people set me off sometimes.
Well, and that's totally fair, because it's a dumb argument. For one, you've never read the Constitution of the United States of America. Even I can say I haven't read all of the amendments, right? I can't say I have an understanding of every amendment. I don't remember what the 17th Amendment of the United States Constitution is. That's a random one. I do know 18 was prohibition, so that's as far as I remember. And I think the 21st ended prohibition. I think that'll be the last constitutional amendment that's ended by this administration. If we get that far, will be the ending of prohibition. Because they want to continue to partake as well. They got to drown their sorrow somehow. But it's just like, if you don't, I want to make it a normal thing again, where if you don't know the answer to something, say, I don't know.
What if
Those
his
3
mother's a
words have died.
socialist? I don't know if
I
I'd
think that
win. I probably
that would
shouldn't have called his
explain
mom a
his mommy
bitch.
issues.
Yeah. All right. I maybe take back that your mom's a bitch, but you are. You are. Generally, I don't like calling women bitches anyway. I like to save that for only men. Being a man, it feels like it's not my term to use toward people that's been traditionally used to keep down. But you're a bitch, Tyler.
I
Jesus
have
fucking Christ.
I have a sticker just for individuals like Tyler and Andrew that is so apt.
I'm just, I like it. I like it a lot. I have a sticker that people can buy at linemerch.com that I have to show you guys real quick. So just so you know, if you haven't already, go to linemerch.com. The whatever dollar amount we had to hit, I don't remember what the goals are, but you can now get the Monad, the Zerba Monad merch. It's all terrible, and yet I love it. It was designed by Adeline Gray, our resident porn star legal prostitute. That not a dig. That is what she does for a living. And she's awesome and made Andrew feel all kinds of terrible ways when he called and talked to her. Anyway, she made, and then also if you qualified for the donation stuff, we're getting all of that worked out. Find the instructions back on the, just email us if you qualified to be able to get the other merch that was donation locked. If people are, those of you who are confused about what I'm talking about, you don't need to worry about it. The people who did that know what I'm talking about. This is our, that's the game Demio. Yeah, that's my Dungeons and Dragons nerdy shit. Okay, this is the Zerba Monad, and you can get that on a sticker now. Thanks for bringing up stickers. I needed to remember to actually promote this. Also, the Line is a podcast. We're actually going to start promoting it now. So at Line has a pod, I think it is, on Instagram. You guys can go and we made this terrible, disgusting dress. It's a skater dress covered in
With that
the
sticker?
Monad.
That's funny.
That design. And then we put the design on a pair of, like, I don't know if you call these yoga shorts, but they're all over print. So it's just fucking insane. I wouldn't buy those, and I don't think you should. Anyway, the main regular Zerba t-shirt's only $20 if you people want the Zerba shirts. It's pretty off. The Zerba Monad, it's pretty terrible. Oh my God, I almost had a whole shebang. We've got another call screening. MAGA.
They never send their best.
Send me your 1 million Charlie Kirks, but Charlie could at least articulate an argument. Charlie would actually, like, he wasn't honest, but he wouldn't just scream the same thing. Isn't it America? Wait, is it America? Isn't it America? What is it America? But isn't the continent? But I don't understand how things are, and I need you to explain it to me because I have poo-poo on my ass because I don't wash my ass. Wash your ass, Tyler.
You're Chinese? They were Chinese? Like, are you good?
Which one do you think was Chinese?
Probably Wick Wu or Wong Wing.
Those are not American names, in fairness. Those do sound like Asian names. Yeah.
They are, but just to go like, they're Chinese, like, can we stop the
are they Chinese?
hate on the Chinese?
Did he say Chinese or Asian?
Was Chinese. No, he said Chinese, and he said it so many times. So like, they have it in China. They have the rights of the Constitution in China. Like,
they do.
It's like, okay. Yeah. If they're on U.S. soil, they most certainly do, Tyler. It's not a hard concept to understand.
And if they're interacting with the American judicial system, you can technically do it remotely. We have trials and shit going on over here all the time. They get paused until people can actually show up, or until the country can figure out crafty ways to do shit to them. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to pee before we take the next one, especially since this one looks like it's a little more targeted at, you don't really debate it much on theology, so I'm going to pee first, but you're welcome to solicit MAGA calls while I pee if you like.
There we go. So Stevie, don't hang up. You can stick around. All right. But guys, what's up? Oh yeah, I can. Guys, you can find me on YouTube and on Twitch, it's Mermaid RE0 all together. On TikTok, it had to be special and different because my stuff was already taken over there. It's mermaid.re. Over on YouTube, on TikTok, if you guys want to find me there. When I normally stream on my own, I stream on all 3 platforms at the same time. I do a lot. There's a lot of chats to handle. So this is a lot nicer. It's just 1,100 people watching right now, and I can read y'all's chats without freaking out by how fast it's going. So it's a lot better. But goodness me, like, can we, MAGA, if you're still out there and you want to say that you still support the United States military, or that we're wrong when we say that the MAGA doesn't support the military, please call the number on the screen. That was the topic for the day. I'd love to get into it. Though I will say, depending on how Stevie's goes, it might be very fun to have that conversation, depending on him. But if you guys look at the description in the video that you're watching right now, Jimmy has linked my link tree. You can find all of my socials right there. You click on them, hit follow, hit subscribe. Well, that's fun. Thank you, Alma. We're going to try. Depends on my schedule.
For the record, for people in the chat, I get it. Like, it's gonna, yeah, for sure. Like, here's the thing. She will have the option to say no, but I recognize also that yes, I intend to make Ari a regular if she wants to. Now, this is like kind of mean undue pressure, because now what's she gonna do? Say no with 1,000 people watching? Like, I hope she's. But anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. We'll get it all. But anytime that I have somebody on where it's like, oh, I'd be fully comfortable just leaving the show with the person. Like, yeah, I'm not blind. Come on here, people.
It's the neurospicy getting along.
The thing is that she's super into astrology. I'm just kidding. I hate astrology. Yep. I really, really hate astrology.
There was a one point where I was actually interested in it, and then I fell away from it because I'm like, my day did not go well, so screw you, astrology. You said I was supposed to have a good day, and it did not exist.
All right, Stevie in Texas. Stevie in Texas, you are on the line with Jimmy and Ari. It says you're also a theist. I wonder, because I don't think the thing you called in on will take much time. Are you also MAGA?
I don't consider myself MAGA, but I would say that a lot of my beliefs line up with that party.
Sure. How old are you, Stevie?
34.
Okay. So you've been able to vote in every election since what? Obama? Well, actually, were you able to vote in
2012?
But were you able to vote in 2008? At 34, I guess you missed 2008.
Yeah, 2008, I was not able to vote.
Okay, but since then. All right, so as far as voting-wise, did you vote for Trump 3 times?
Yes.
Okay. And before that, you voted for Romney? And you voted in all of them, not just that's who you would have supported. You actually engaged and went and cast those votes.
Yeah, I did. I did go and vote.
Word. What religion are you? It says you're a theist. You're a Texas theist. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say Christian, but which Christian are you?
The biblical one.
Great. So which one's that?
The one that's
Steve, just say the name.
What the Bible says.
Just say the name of the Stevie,
I don't have a denomination, so I would say non-denominational.
Okay. Non-denominational. Fine. That's fine. Literally every single Christian of every type of Christian, literally Mormons would have answered the way you initially answered. That's why I was asking you to be more specific.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be evasive. I didn't realize that everybody says that.
Yes, including Mormons. Mormons, in fact, believe they're the only ones really living the Bible and believing it. All right, so Stevie, what is your question for me? And then we may explore some other topics.
Yeah, I just, I was listening to the show and I wasn't going to call in, but then I heard you mention that human life has value.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sure if you were, a Christian yourself or not. But
I was, yeah. I was a Mormon and then a Christian, and now I am an atheist, a strong atheist.
So
Not
you're
only do
an
I believe,
atheist.
not only do I not believe in God, I believe you can make a very clear case where the most reasonable conclusion is that gods don't exist.
So you're what's called a hard atheist, which means you have evidence against God.
Strong atheist is what I use, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, how do you, as a strong atheist, how do you justify saying that a human life has value?
Sure. Like all moral frameworks and like all value systems, they're all subjective. So what I'm justifying is that I have the most defensible position, which is secular humanism. Secular humanism, while not actually inherently a human supremacy system, isn't incompatible even with human supremacy. That's how high it values human life. But there are people who extend it out to like sentient beings that are secular humanists who are vegans. That's not incompatible. So you can't say it's inherent. But it's at least attached. And where that comes from will have been a development of empathy, our natural development of empathy, which we have. It will be the experience of having life and recognizing the value of my life, and and then evaluating that against human life across the spectrum and where it would compare to other things. Keep in mind, when you say I said human life has value, I didn't only say human life had value. I said it had more value than the bricks, which implies the bricks also have value too. So you're talking about a tiered system of value. And then you can put a comprehensive, some will call it a philosophical or academic case on the value of that which is conscious, because only things which are conscious can consider value, especially if they then have sentience and the faculties which allow them to logic things out. And so the concept of value in and of itself is inherently subjective because it is limited to only those beings. And so again, it's not difficult. We define what the word value means, and then we try to defend that which qualifies more or less in it. It's, if anything, I would argue that it is much more defensible than, for example, the Christian assignment of value, which is so often very racist, very sexist, very elitist, and in this country, very capitalist, very classist, very ethnicist. Take your pick.
So, I mean, if it's subjective, then that just means that it's your opinion, right?
Not quite. You can say it's subjective in that it is. So, for example, pain is subjective, right, Stevie? I have a subjective experience of pain, but the pain is either it can still be objectively occurring or not. So I would say my moral system of secular humanism, while it is subjective in that I have to defend why it is superior to others, then still continues on the objective definitions of whether or not those standards are being met. But if you just mean, is morality subjective? Right? Yes, of course it is. Your morality is subjective. As a Christian, everybody's morality is subjective. And so whether it is subjective doesn't mean it is the most defensible. To somebody like Andrew we talked about earlier, who is an actual sociopath, you are going to have a difficult time using empathy as a method by which to appeal. So you have to make a purely secular argument outside of empathy. However, you still can do so, because if you're valuing human well-being the most, an individual tends to not even need empathy to say, my well-being is important to me, I think, therefore I am. Being in pain is less preferable to not being in pain, those sorts of experiences. And you can appeal to those still with a secular humanist system of participating in a system that works the best for everyone is also best for the individual.
So can you say the statement, it is true that hurting someone is wrong?
Certainly.
So you do believe in moral truth then?
Of course, I told you I'm a secular humanist. What you mean to say is, can you say that it is true that hurting somebody is wrong at every single scale of the universe? No, no one can. But I can say it is true that hurting somebody is wrong because I am a secular humanist and that moral system.
You do realize that people have different moral systems. You do realize that
I do, and I believe, and as I said, I believe mine is the most defensible.
Different opinions.
Correct. Yep.
So why is your opinion more valuable than somebody else's?
As I already stated, we're kind of looping back because it is more defensible. I'm not saying it's inherently more valuable, that because, for example, I have the endorsement of some guy who's in the sky controlling everything and just trust me, bro, you can't meet him, but I have his endorsement. Instead of that, I actually have to break down how it benefits the individual who is born the same way we are all born, with the sort of drive to live and thrive, how it is the most beneficial to an individual and the world in general, to people broadly. That is why it is more valid, because I can put up the precepts. Because keep in mind, even for this, Stevie, and this isn't a dig on you, this is how it always comes. You come to me to argue that my moral system is invalid, putting it up against the existential idea of what would make it valid in general. Instead of, because this is where a Christian will lose every time, here's a value of Christianity and here's a value of secular humanism. Which one of the values is better? It's kind of like the solipsistic bullshit people do, where they're like, well, if you're questioning whether Christianity is true, the most reasonable thing to now do is go, how do we know anything is true? Rather than go like, okay, which has more evidence for it, that the earth is billions of years old or that it is 6,000 years old? If I was a Christian defending 6,000 years old, I'd way rather than engage the question of whether the universe even exists at all and try and get very, what is the word? Like overly complicated, very sophist. I would way rather go with that than I would go with, here's the evidence that 6,000 years is good, and here's the evidence that billions of years for the earth is good. And so I think in your position, it is natural to you to go, I'd rather put up your system of human thriving, taking care of people. Obviously, it's what makes me a socialist. It's what makes me a humanist. It's what makes me think we take care of everybody else. I'd way rather fight that with the existential thing of how do you justify anything with no God than say, but isn't my Bible, which literally endorses rape, slavery, like chattel slavery, as well as what you guys think is also okay, indentured servitude? No, it isn't. I'm sorry, sir. No, it isn't. And I can give you the examples. I know the Bible. Unfortunately for you, the reason why I'm an atheist is I actually read the Bible. So which thing would you like to go ahead and say? Would you like me to show you the time where God commands people to rape?
I would like to, we can do that. That's fine. But I'd like to finish this topic first. I mean,
yeah, let's do that. And then we'll go with what you said was false.
You're dressing it up, in nice fancy wording, but the truth is you're saying morality is subjective, which means
yes, yours is and mine is.
You have no standard that you are using, because what you said is your position is more morally defensible.
Correct.
Based on what truth?
No, that's fine enough. Morally defensible is not technically correct, because you wouldn't defend a moral system where you're saying, like, on the outside, let's say you have two laws. You wouldn't call it, this one's more legally defensible. You would use some other standard. And so my standard would be appealing to like human thriving, but whatever, I'm fine with your terminology. Yes, my morality as a secular humanist is more defensible to be adopted as a morality than any other moral system. That is my assertion.
So you're saying that hurting people or killing people it goes against the moral good of the society? Or how would you phrase?
No, you're adding the word moral to that, and I can make it without using the word moral. But against the wellness and thriving of a society, that unjust killing, certainly, I think there are times where killing is unfortunately necessary, mostly like in self-defense to protect somebody, certainly not to stop an empty building from being burned down. But yeah, I do. And we also have the advantage here, Stevie, of we weren't born yesterday. We literally have thousands of years of history that we can look through and go, hey, here is what what these societies that looked like in the past ended up looking like based on these moral systems. And the axioms that I have to appeal to are mild, like life is preferable to death, right? That's not a difficult to justify and reassert, but you can call it a presupposition because it's an axiom. Why is life preferable to death to the individual who's alive? Thousands of years of evolution to hardwire our brain to be that way.
Yeah, but most people in society fear the idea of death.
But maybe that person's their own life, but I'm talking about other life. Like, why is let's just get out of yourself instead of thinking about your own life. I'm talking about the society, the life of the society.
So then you're describing utilizing empathy over thousands of years, as I just mentioned the framework. Over thousands of years, we found this to be true of everyone, that life is preferable to death, being alive is preferable to not being alive, not suffering is preferable to suffering, and that these are universal truths you can find throughout society, and that, in fact, a lot of where society breaks down is where the suffering of a small group of people is prioritized. Actually, their thriving is prioritized over sufferings of huge groups of people.
Okay, but you admit that people do disagree with you. Like, I'm sure it's
of course, I'm aware that most people are not secular humanists because most people have been programmed by a tradition that has failed them over and over and over again. And then they call into shows not knowing what their own Bible says. But when they're surprised to hear something, they say something like, that's not true, despite the fact they actually don't know what's in the Bible. Because anybody who knows the Bible, I don't think would make such a silly claim.
I know the Bible more than you do, but
Stevie, I guarantee you that you don't. Okay, great. Stevie, since you know me better, since you know it better, when I say God has commanded people to rape, what verse am I referring to?
You're probably referring to 2 Samuel?
Nope.
Okay, then that's fine. I mean, I want to finish our conversation. I want to get to a stopping point here.
Stevie, you're the one who asserted you know the Bible better than me, and I assert that I know it better than you. Sir, I think you'd be an atheist if you did.
I was an atheist before, so anyways.
You weren't a skeptic. Also,
so
I don't care.
Agree that
atheists aren't automatically good people or skeptical, and you clearly aren't skeptical.
I think we could probably both agree, though, that your morals are, everybody has different morals. So if your standard is coming from yourself, then other people their standard is going to be coming from their self. So
my standard is articulated by myself. However, it is very much a group effort that has developed over thousands of years. At best, it is that there is a pretty concrete standard that I may fail to meet up to at times. I'm not perfect, so I won't always meet the standard. I will fail even against my own moral standard. You should be familiar with that. You guys call it sin. We don't call it sin because we're not superstitious, but I may fail to meet my own moral standard, but the standard itself isn't so loose. It's just then, as an individual, as a human, I'm capable of imperfect interpretation.
It sounds like you're borrowing from God, but you don't want to give him the credit.
Right, those are words a person. Hang on, Stevie. Those are words a person can say in order. I can also say meep, mort, boop, beep, and it will mean the same amount of something.
I don't know that makes much sense, but
well, what you said made no sense. You haven't proven a God exists to borrow from. You're asserting, you're presupposing he exists. That is not a justifiable axiom. Justifiable axioms confirm themselves after the fact. He has done no such thing. And so you're just sitting there and going like, you're borrowing from God. Great. Show me the God. I'll hand it back to him.
Well, I mean, how long do you have? Do you have about 8 hours to talk about all this, or do you want to stick to one topic?
No, I don't. That is a beautiful cop out. First of all, the next show, Chewed Gum, starts in an hour and 12 minutes. I'm not going to encroach on theirs, but what a silly cop out that you think that in 8 hours, if it only takes you 8 hours to prove a God exists, please go collect your Nobel Prize. My goodness.
Jimmy, I could literally talk to you for an hour on each of these topics. So
great.
If if you want to go that route.
Hey, Stevie, I could talk to you in 2 hours on each of these topics.
Which topic would you prefer?
6 hours. I don't know. We were doing an hour measuring dip contest, so I wasn't positive.
Can you show me the verse where God is saying that slavery is good? Where's that verse?
You said slavery is good. God says at the very least slavery is permissible and it's actually allowed. Commands them to take sex slaves in one case. We can hit rape and slaves at the same time if you like.
It even walks through the process of how to get out of being a slave, which never actually happens. Even in the Bible.
Nowhere in the Bible does the Bible condone slavery. Nowhere in the Bible does it say slavery is good. Nowhere in the Bible does it command anybody to take slaves.
Yes, it does. You are absolutely wrong. Great. Deuteronomy 21. What happens in Deuteronomy 21? Since you know this so much better than me, right? By the way, which version of the Bible are you reading?
I have the Bible memorized.
To not know Deuteronomy 21 though, it's like, goodness sakes, that you're pretending that you're having these conversations so much. That's crazy to me. But anyway, Deuteronomy 20, which version of the Bible are you using? I want to make sure I have your version up.
The NASB.
NASB.
21 chapter or verse what?
Hang on, I'm pulling up your Bible. I think we're going to be starting at verse 10. And we're going with sex slaves just to cover both the rape and the slavery at the same time for you.
Would you like me to go ahead and read?
Oh, I'm going to do it. I like my own voice more than yours. People tell me all the time. But I pulled up your Bible, so surely you'll be like it. When you go out to battle, actually, and by the way, this is the law that follows the commandment. There was first the slaughter. I assume, hey, what happened, Stevie? So we can set the stage before we do these verses. Would you remind the people what happened with the Midianites when the Israelites fought the Midianites and they came back with captives? What did God command through Moses happen to the Midianites? Could you go ahead and just fill everybody in on that real quick?
I believe he told him to wipe them out.
Yeah, he said, all these captives you took, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kill everyone alive, all of them, except for who? Who did he say to keep?
Let me think here. I read this probably a few weeks ago.
Definitely think.
Here. Who did he say to keep, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't remember. Enlighten me. Tell me.
I bet you could guess. Think about where we are right now. So they're already committing genocide. They're killing the fuck out of them. But actually, somehow the soldiers were like, guys, everybody, you want us to kill the babies, the moms? We'll kill the soldiers, but we just went ahead and didn't kill absolutely everybody. So God says, go ahead, kill everybody except who?
We gotta stay focused here, Jimmy. You keep bringing in all these other things.
No. This is extremely important. This is literally the answer to your original question.
I'm asking you.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay,
I read this. Unlike you, I don't like.
You don't study the Bible. I know. Unlike me, you don't study the Bible.
Don't meditate on Deuteronomy and all these.
Yes,
other,
I know. You cherry park. You cherry. I get it. You cherry pick the parts that make you feel good. I get it. So I'm going to read you Numbers 31 first. I'm going to read you number 31's first. Now, therefore, this is like the what the fuck? You didn't kill everybody. This is what God has to say.
31.
Now, therefore,
you're moving to a different verse. Which verse?
I'm starting here. I'm reading it to you. You can go check it after if you need to. I'm going to read you word for word from the NASB. I don't have to change a word, but if you need to, go ahead. Now, therefore,
I know, but I'm saying, okay, you're at 21.
We're doing Numbers first because then the verse that comes after will clarify this, that we are talking about sex slavery. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones and kill every woman who has known a man intimately. However, all the girls who have not known a man intimately, keep alive for yourselves. Now, what is that verse commanding them to do with those virgins? What does it mean to keep alive for yourself?
It's just saying take them back, keep them alive. I mean,
And do what? And do what with them? And do wait, Stevie. And do what with them? Are you going to pretend it doesn't mean more? Maybe I will let you read the next verse. Marry them. Got it. Marry them. And by the way, remind me back then, how did you marry an individual?
Paid their father.
Well, there's no fathers, because remember in the verse prior, they murdered everybody. So how do you marry somebody?
I mean, we could talk for I can talk for an hour on each one of these topics.
Great, Stevie. Right now we're talking on this topic, so please answer the question. Don't take Stevie.
Now we're switching to a different topic
Stevie,
here.
No, we're not. I'm going to mute you. You wanted the chapter and verse where he commands sexual slavery. We're about to get to the clarification because you are pretending that isn't what happened here, and you think you have an out because it wasn't in that verse. So I might even have you read the Deuteronomy one because it will be more fun. But I want to know, since you know the Bible better than me, are you definitively saying keep alive for yourselves is not in any way describing have sex with them regardless of if they consent?
Where does it say have sex or rape them? Show me that verse.
Okay, are you saying, before I do, are you here definitively saying, excuse me, are you here, excuse me, Stevie, before I show you that verse, are you here definitively saying that that is not what this is indicating, and that when I said earlier, the Bible does condone rape and slavery, if I do now show you the verse, you will both revoke that and tell and admit that the Bible has an immoral thing in it, because that was your thing. The Bible isn't bad because it does not condone rape, it does not command rape, it does not condone or command slavery. So if I now give you the verse that clarifies what we're talking about here, and it does, you will admit you were wrong and that the Bible is immoral, correct?
So you have a verse that says that
answer my question and I'll answer yours. I'll answer yours. Answer my question and I'll answer yours.
That verse is not in there.
Answer my if the verse exists. If the verse exists, if it exists, will you admit you were wrong and that the Bible is immoral?
No, I want you to show me the verse. I'm not going to play games.
Great. I am going to show you the verse. I will show you the verse as soon as you answer this question. If you really don't want to, if I show you the verse, will you admit the Bible is immoral and that you were wrong?
I have to see the verse to answer that question.
Great. If you see the verse and the verse does that, if you see the verse and the verse does command,
raping on their own, that is not Jesus Christ condoning rape.
If
you have to show me the verse, is it there or not?
The commandment, great. So now I'm going to ask the question for the 90th time. If the commandment from God exists to have sex with the woman by passing her consent and subject her to your servitude, will you admit, if that's what the verse says, that you are wrong and the Bible is immoral? You can go ahead and say no, you're going to squirm your way out of it. I just want to make sure we have that on the record beforehand before you start doing the little squirmies you're going to do. But if it says that, will you admit you were wrong?
I know the Bible. There is nowhere does it say to rape the woman. Nowhere does it say that. Stevie,
I'm muting you again. There are zero stakes. If you're right and it doesn't say that, you don't have to worry about saying, yes, if it says that, I'll admit I was wrong and that the Bible is immoral. But you won't say that because you're worried it's about to say it. So Stevie, if you won't even acknowledge that, why should I even let you rebut it all? Why not just be like, either just say yes, if it actually says that, you'll admit you were wrong and the Bible is immoral because you're so confident it doesn't say that. Why not just go with that? I'm going to give the verse either way. So why not just answer the question?
I'm not going to say anything without seeing the verse. So if you want to show me,
like I said, if the verse doesn't say it,
then hang up on
me. Stevie, if the verse doesn't say it, if the verse doesn't say it, all you'll have to say is the verse doesn't say that. So I'm not admitting I was wrong. These are your options. I asked you specifically, if the verse says it, will you admit you were wrong and the Bible is immoral? And you are unable because you are morally bankrupt because of this Bible that you're holding yourself hostage to say, yes, if the Bible says without the consent of the woman, have sex with her and subject her to servitude, I will admit I was wrong and the Bible is immoral.
What's the verse so we can move on? I don't want to.
Stevie, will you say that or no?
I'll admit that I'm
great.
wrong. It's a verse, but it's not there.
And you will admit that the Bible is immoral, correct?
It depends on the context of the verse. That's what I'm saying.
It depends on the context of the verse, Stevie. Great. All right,
Stevie.
Then I'm just going to you are not engaging honestly. We aren't, again, I'm more the one who does the theology calls. So I'm going to mute you and I'm going to read it off, but I'm actually going to be a dick and not let you defend your position because you are being such an obfuscating, dishonest little asshole right now. You're trying to hedge all these bets. So I'm going to read it to you. And by the way, here's the joke of it all. I already gave you the verse. You just weren't paying attention. So Numbers, to recap for everybody, Numbers 31, 17 and 18 says, now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones and kill every woman who has known a man intimately. However, all the girls who have not known a man intimately, keep alive for yourself. It is essentially saying any woman that you believe, and by the way, remember that they used outdated virgin, they confirmed the existence of the hymen back then. That was how they figured out, which we now know biologically doesn't work. So they also killed a lot of virgins. They also killed a lot of 1-year-olds. They also killed a lot of babies. In fact, in this very verse, God is supporting abortions because he is killing mothers who are pregnant. The only people who are allowed to be left alive are girls who have not known a man. Now, if we go back to the verse I already gave, which is in Deuteronomy, it is in chapter 21. I think it starts at verse 14. I will have to double check. Nope, it actually starts at verse 10. This is the verse that clarifies what that means when you take a girl as a captive, quote unquote, for yourself. In fact, in the version of the Bible that he demanded we use, it literally right before that calls these verses domestic relations, which when you hear them should make you want to throw up. When you go out to battle against your enemies and the Lord your God hands them over to you and you take them away captive and you see amongst the captives a beautiful woman. Oh, by the way, Stevie has left because he was terrified to hear this. Thank you for your concession, Steve. Anyway, when you see amongst the captives a beautiful woman and are strongly attracted to her and would take her as a wife for yourself, then you shall bring her into your home and she shall shave her head and trim her nails. She shall also, by the way, the verse gets worse, but do keep in mind, this is a captive. You go and you take her as your wife. Not you ask. There is zero place here. And in fact, it will be reaffirmed here. Literally. She doesn't get a say. She does not get to decline. However, I have some good news. At the end of verse 14, there is a chance she will be free to do whatever she wants. But one thing has to happen first. Then you shall bring her into your home. She shall shave her head and trim her nails. She shall also remove the clothes of her captivity and shall remain in your house and weep for her father and mother a full month. Now, in other versions, it says 40 days, but whatever. For a full month. And after that, you may have relations with her and become her husband, and she shall be your wife. Not she may, she shall. There's a reason why it's may for the man and shall. And by the way, again, biblical times, to consummate a marriage, you fucked them. In fact, there are other verses here in Deuteronomy where if you rape a woman that is not promised to another man, you just have to pay the father and she becomes your wife. Now, there is some indication that the father could decline that. However, back in that society, would have been discouraged from doing so because as what is called a humiliated woman, a woman who's no longer a virgin, she would no longer be able to be married off. By the way, also, if you just happen to be a person from a family that is economically advantageous to bond your families, that rape would almost be considered by a lot of the fathers kind of dope. So that's where we are, just giving you that little additional context. But here's where the freedom comes, people. You'll take her, you'll have relations, become her husband, she'll be your wife. But it shall be, if you are not pleased with her, then you shall let her go wherever she wishes. And you certainly shall not sell her for money. You shall not treat her as merchandise, since you have humiliated her. In other words, the only women you can set free are the ones you have already taken away their ability. That's what humiliated means. Their ability to marry somebody else because they're no longer a virgin. So she's a humiliated woman who is now allowed to go off free and go wherever she wishes in the society that literally killed her father, her mother, her siblings, her grandparents, I would say potentially her kids, but that would have meant she had known a child, unless she was Mary. Literally, this Bible verse, these verses say exactly what I said they say. That you kill all the family, kill everybody except the virgin girls. By the way, no age cap on that. Did you notice? If you think one of them's hot, you take them, you rape them. If post-rape, you aren't satisfied and want to keep them around, no violation to you, the fact that you're not a virgin because you're a man. Send her on her way. By the way, doesn't say that it changes if she's pregnant either, which we already know God's kind of that way. I don't know if y'all know the story about the story of Abraham and what happened with the handmaiden. But yeah, you're not really obligated to the ones that you made pregnant either. So yeah, this literally says exactly what I said it did. And yet this is why he would not commit to, if it says that, I will admit I was wrong and the Bible's immoral. And to the person who said, Jimmy, stop interrupting yourself, let yourself speak.
What?
Fuck you. Yeah, I know.
ADHD brain. ADHD brain.
I don't have ADHD. I only have autism.
Okay, well, I might just have a mix of everything. I don't know anymore. But yeah, he needed it to specifically say the word rape. And then that's the only way he would make a concession, which is just, again, it's being intellectually dishonest. And it's similar enough, like, I don't necessarily agree with the arguments where people are like, well, that's the Hebrew Bible and that's not upheld currently and all of the other stuff. The Bible is a weird place.
Also, the NASB, I believe, I'm double checking, edited all the times the word rape is used. Like literally rape is used in the New Independent Version, for example.
Really? They took it
in
out?
A lot of verses. Yeah, they just change it to things like, hang on, I'll find out. Let's see what it says. Version. Deuteronomy 22, 28 through 29. If you can find that, I'll stick to NASB and we'll read the difference. Like they literally take out that verse even when it's understood to be that verse. Yeah, okay. Do you have it up? Do you have Deuteronomy 22, 28 and then the NIV up?
Oh, you want me to do the 22? Yeah, I can go to that one. 28, yeah.
I want to read the differences between them. And MAGA, we still want to talk to you. We got 54 minutes. I just looked at my watch isn't on. We have 54 minutes to talk to you guys. If you want to talk, we can talk.
NIV says rape.
Yeah, go ahead and read it. And then I want to read to you the way they change it. Read 28 through 28 and 29. Read it all the way out.
If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives.
Which is funny because a lot of people like that one does say must. A lot of people like, I think it's the KJV, which says the father may marry the person off. So even the level of like slavery this is becoming, because that was Ray Comfort's defense of the verse. No father would ever do that. No father would. And yes, they absolutely would. In that time, in that culture, your daughter is now unmarriable because you're considered not a virgin if you are raped. Anyway, here's the difference where they use the word rape. NASB purposely avoids the word. If a man finds a girl who is a virgin, who is not betrothed, and he seizes her and has sexual relations with her, when you seize and then have sexual relations and they are discovered, then the man who had sexual relations with her shall give her father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall become his wife. So this one's a commandment too, actually, because he has violated her. He is not allowed to divorce her all his days. So it's they literally avoid, they just won't use the word rape. By the way, they actually use rape in NASB in the verses before that, but in that one they switch it. They use it even though the language is the same in the Bible in the verses before. Here they use it, And people love these verses because they think they're actually saying rape is wrong. And pay attention. But if the man finds the girl who's betrothed in the field and the man seizes her and rapes her, then only the man who raped her shall die. And you are not to do anything to the girl. There is no sign the girl is worthy of death. For just as a man rises against his neighbor and murders him, so this is the case. When he found her in the field, the betrothed girl cried out, but there was, when he found her in the field, the betrothed girl cried out, but there was no one to save her. So, there are two things about this. It's actually in the verses prior. Whether or not you are raped in the Bible is based on whether or not you cry out. Literally, yes. That's it. If you cry, if you didn't cry for help, whatever the reason is, you couldn't, you were terrified, shock, whatever, then it's not rape. That's established in these verses. Also established in these verses, Christians, Bible believers, MAGA people, this is your book. Also established in these verses is, remember, the difference between this case where it's rape on this one and in verse 28 it was rape also, but that person wasn't killed, was the fact that they were betrothed to another man. They were already promised to another man. So you are only put to death for rape in Deuteronomy if that rape harms another man. Otherwise, it's fine. Otherwise, that's a way to get yourself a wife. If you know they're not promised yet, and you go and rape a girl, now you get the wife. Anyway, the Bible's superior to secular humanism.
No. I don't. It's like this stuff, it definitely, if people actually read it and they read it the way that it was written, in which also the King James version is so... the King James version is just so weird. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, which, not who, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. Like,
is that the new KJV?
No, that's just the original King James.
I must have been
like the 70s one. I don't know.
Which verse did you start
on? 28.
Okay, because the one that I have up that says KJV is, if a man finds a girl who is a virgin, who is not betrothed, and he seizes her and has sexual relations with her, and they are discovered, then the man who had sexual relations with her will give her father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall become his wife because he has violated her. He is not allowed to divorce her all his days. Bro, this book's great. What a good book. Show me the verse where here's the thing too, like, yes, we can go in the Leviticus, like, here's how you can beat your slaves, here you can trick your slaves, give them a wife and a kid. If they don't want to lose them, then they have to stay your slave. Here's where you can be a temporary slave. Here's and we can talk about how bad all those things are, and they are bad. But the most prolific existence is the thing that nobody talks about because it only has to do with women being oppressed. And that is that the sexual slavery and that the marriage system all along was sexual slavery. Women did not get to choose their husbands. Their fathers did.
Were sold off. Yeah, women were sold off. And I think the worst part about it is it like especially when it comes to like extreme Christian apologetics, is it the way that they go about skipping over verses of the Bibles that they don't agree with, or sticking to one version of the Bible that is flowered up, is that in and of itself proves the fact that morality is subjective, because we already know that morals have changed over time, and it's no longer a common practice where people believe that these things are okay, especially as my friend that is one of my big supporters on my show, he's a part of the LDS, so the Mormon church, and he's just
still
he's very nice though. Like, I don't
10% of his income goes to a queer hate group, but this is my problem with Dan McClellan. Like, everybody likes him in the atheist community, and it's like, you guys are buying his book and 10% is going to hate on queers. So I hope your friend sees the light, because the Mormons are awful.
I actually would have to ask my sister about it, because she almost she technically converted to get married to her ex-husband, but her ex-husband was semi-abusive. And I say semi because they get along well with their parenting after they divorced. So I say semi. Sure. He was not currently towards her, because it's hard to do when you're not married. But I'd have to talk to her about it. But it's just, morality has adjusted as time has moved on, which in and of itself proves it right there that it is a subjective part of morality.
Yeah.
Like
The whole point of secular
it varies per
humanism,
person.
clearly even Christians, their morality has evolved as time has gone on. So if that's the case, then their morality isn't like hard coded in the book. There's something else that's helping them figure out how to adapt it. And whatever that thing is, like, you know, empathy, logic, observation of history, all that stuff, just skip the Bible and use that from the onset. Whatever's helping you improve your morality, just kill the other stuff and start there. But no, yeah, I grew up Mormon, very Mormon, and yeah, there are obviously people who I love who are Mormon, but their Mormonism never gets a pass for me. It's kind of one of those things where it's like there's just this upper limit of you literally can't ever meet the highest standard of what I consider a good person if you are a Mormon who is actively, by the way, I'm technically still a Mormon. So just being on the books or whatever is also fine to me. But if you are financially supporting what is classified as a queer hate group, at the very minimum, it would be like everything else is good about you. That seems to be Dan McClellan's deal. Everything else about him seems great. But he's literally targeting an atheist community to sell his books and then giving 10% of the money that he makes off of that to a queer hate group. And I just can't get past that. Sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh no, you're good.
Over your Mormon
I was just
friends.
reading I was reading his super chat that he sent.
Was he one of the super chats today?
Yeah, he just sent one. It says, "Hey, feel how you like about us, my dude. It's okay. I left the church and came back, so your words do not faze me. Have some more support though. Always good to hear new perspectives." Yeah, he's actually very extremely open to hearing perspectives. And I appreciate that about him so much because he's always willing to hear someone out, even though he does get stuck in his ways, just as I certainly do. So I can't fault anybody for getting stuck.
Here's my response. Thank you for the $10. I won't give any of it to a queer hate group. But also, I hope that on a time Ari's not here, so it doesn't make anything weird between you two, that you call and we talk about it. Because I got to tell you, I left the church and came back, so your words do not faze me should not be a brag. If anybody has any like valid criticism of secular humanism and the shortcomings it has or whatever, for sure, like your life should be a series of things phasing you and you trying to figure out how to be better. And Mormonism to me goes, yeah, but I've figured out how to make peace with being a part of a queer hate organization. And by the way, an extremely misogynistic organization, a patriarchal organization, an organization that is inherently abusive to children. Mormonism, the list of other things that are bad, but the quickest thing to you are financially supporting a group that is a queer hate group. It should faze you, even if you're going to sit there and go, I think you're wrong about it being a queer hate group, and here's why, and then you're going to explore that and want to discuss it, whatever you want to do. But I got to tell you, hearing that the words don't faze you is actually the opposite of a brag. It should faze you that you are participating in queer hate, even if your church has some good thing below it. Correct. Yeah. So McClellan did make a video about, McClellan is correct socially and politically he seems fine. I mean, probably very liberal. Obviously I'm a leftist, so liberalism just doesn't do it enough for me. But McClellan says a lot of great stuff. And then he goes to church and where he suspends it and he talks about all the reasons why the Book of Mormon is a 19th century man-made thing from the scholarly perspective. And then he goes to church and he goes, but my faith says, even though I know all of the scholarship I know all of that, but my faith says it's somehow still true. And gives his 10%. Like, that's my problem. But anyway, Jocular, you're welcome to call in and I will be extra nice because you're Ari's friend. I won't give you the Tyler treatment. Or was that the last guy's name? What was the last guy's name? Stevie
was
special
something.
There's only like four good Stevens.
Do I? You know what? Actually, I have a cousin named Stevie. I don't talk to him, but that's because I don't even know where he lives anymore. Probably Pennsylvania. I don't talk to that side of the family very often.
Jocular says, I'm sorry, dude. I do not Bible bash nor bash others' beliefs. I'm sure you mean well. You may feel how you like about the church, but I don't imagine you are receptive to my perspective or points. You'd be wrong. As long as your points are well reasoned, as long as they add up, as long as they are true, my entire life is changing my perspective based on new, better information. I used to be an extremely conservative, extremely Mormon. The fact that you're even interacting here means I was more Mormon than you once. And it has been challenges and developing a solid method for assessing claims that has changed me. As far as not bashing others' beliefs, again, not a brag. You don't bash anybody's? Like, I hope you mean specifically people with whom you want to get along. Because, like, you could start with the extreme. I hope you bash white supremacist beliefs. I hope you bash MAGA beliefs. But then I think you should start bashing the things that those foundations come from. Because, for example, your church, not incompatible with white supremacy, arguably is white supremacist, and not incompatible with MAGA, as we've seen the way the Mormons have full step fallen in line for Trump. So again, like, not bashing beliefs and not, anyway, I hope I'm not making things weird for you. I can let it go there. I hope you call it a time where Ari isn't here. And it can be totally
bash
separate.
beliefs all the time, unfortunately, on my stream. Yeah. So specifically with MAGA, and then sometimes when they try to debate abortion, I do use the Bible in my favor, specifically Exodus. So,
yeah. Hey, MAGA, we want to talk to you. That phone number's there. We've got enough time for one or two more calls. 33654-32101, 336-543-2101.
And preferably not another Andrew or a Tyler, because those are I don't want a repeat of those two humans.
I'll even do the one that's like kind of gross to vote on for the poll. Which party is better for America? I would like to point out I am not saying good. I'm going to write GOP/MAGA and then Dems/liberals.
Which we don't have a liberal party in America, just like no other place in the world technically has a Democrat party.
They pretend.
They do pretend. It's very annoying to me. It's like, oh no, the liberals, like that's not what the Democratic Party is. They're not.
We've got at least one call screening. We'll see what that's going on there. Sometimes we get full lines and sometimes we get full of shit assholes. 33654-32101, 336-543-2101. If you want to call in, call in. Whether or not you want to call in.
Oh, okay, someone actually about the topic.
Possibly. Luthien, are you going to screen that call for us? Luthien might be in the middle. Okay, we got it. Oh my goodness. My goodness. That damn Overton window, indeed. We've got some people in chat. Only 2% of the people in chat think MAGA is better for America than the Democrats. I know there's more MAGA in chat.
There's so much. I mean, yeah, like not even half the chat. Not even barely 10% of the chat has voted. Yeah. You guys are not doing it.
Dracula says they can call at some time. Don't know what the conversation would accomplish. Well, I changed my mind through conversation, so it might. Here's the deal, Jack. Again, I wouldn't recommend today. We only have 40 minutes, and I want at least to have the option to go longer. If you're a creator, we can do it more face to face. Is Jocular a creator? We can do like a split screen.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No,
I'm
I don't
not going
believe he does.
Put you out on blast like that.
No.
Sorry, I'm just seeing the notes. So I do want to have that conversation. On my end, there's multiple values. One, it could change your mind eventually. It might plant the seed that changes your mind. It might just make you uncomfortable with places where you've either had to say, I don't know, or what I remember from being a Mormon, where you assert things that somewhere inside you know aren't true. You don't acknowledge to yourself that they aren't true, but then afterwards you go to do research to make sure that next time when you get brought that argument, the argument is articulated more honestly. it's sort of a way of, it's like Holy Spirit lying. The Spirit is telling me to say this. I have this confidence because I have the Spirit. So it could change your mind. It also could change my mind if you have good, adequate evidence. You have a lot to work against, but it could. But also for both of us, there could be a person who's on the fence with Mormonism watching, and you might be able to compel them to fall down on the side of Mormonism, and I might be able to compel them to fall on the side off. Or there might be people listening who want to have better ways to defend Mormonism, and they might take up your articulations, and people who want better articulations of an offense of Mormonism, and they might pick up my articulations. Usually there's lots of people who watch who they feel the same way, they know the same stuff, but not everybody has the gift of articulation. So those are the several things that it possibly could accomplish, but appreciate again the financial support. All right. Ryan in Florida.
This will be interesting.
I've got a little bit of a red flag that I feel like might. Ryan, are you for real MAGA or are you like pretending?
No, I'm for real MAGA.
For real MAGA.
I don't have a hat, but I voted for him.
I don't know. I don't know if that makes. I think if you don't have a hat, you might not be for real MAGA. You might be soft MAGA, honestly.
I'll tell you what. I ordered one of those. I ordered a Charlie Kirk hat after his assassination, and that's in the mail. So that may count.
Right. So you're like a MAGA with Kirk, like a MAGAC.
I'm like MAGA.
I have two MAGA hats. That's the weird thing. I have two. I have more MAGA hats than you, and I'm a socialism. It's crazy. All right, Ryan.
Send it my way, man. I'll take it. I'm
the
like
point
MAGA
you want
light,
to?
like diet MAGA.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
You mentioned that Trump. You mentioned that Trump doesn't support the military, and it seems like he does, based on, I mean, even just the creating of Space Force in 2019. You know, that's a huge, boon to the military force of America. You think that, and he's excited about it. You hear him talk about it, he gets excited.
Yeah. So Ryan, I have a couple of questions that are pretty simple ones. Who does the Space Force benefit more? Members of the military who might like to join the Space Force, or billionaires?
I don't think it's an either or. I think it's probably both.
No, it's not. It's definitely billionaires.
More.
How come?
Yeah.
So hold on, but Ryan, you missed an important part. Ryan, real quick, you missed an important part about Jimmy's question, right? He said, "Who do you think it benefits more?" He's already acknowledging that it benefits both. So who gets the majority of the benefit?
I think I don't look at it. I mean, I would think it depends. Like, if you took all the billionaires or all the money and how much the creation of Space Force helps that money, I don't know what those
like
numbers
Lockheed
are.
Martin. Sure. So,
yeah,
but Ryan, you at least acknowledge it does benefit billionaires, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So is it easy if you have a candidate, a president, who constantly does things that benefits billionaires? Is it difficult to say, hey, the person over here has done a thing. Let's actually say it does benefit the military more. It's 30% billionaires, 70% the military. Is it easy for me to make the case and go, right, but he did it because it does the billionaires. He did it to preserve his people, the billionaires. So the 70% of benefit to the military doesn't actually matter to him. This is about, and actually, I don't even think it's only the billionaires. Donald Trump loves anything that's his. So he can say Donald Trump started the Space Force. He would call it Trump's force if he could, but he created a branch of the military. Do you deny? Do you think that that's not what motivated it? That it is actually out of a love for the military that he's supporting the military? Or do you think it's more likely that this very obvious narcissist was like, here's a way my buddies make money, I get favors, my corporations eventually make money, and I get to put my stamp on, I, Donald Trump, for the remainder of history, created the Space Force?
Again, like it's probably both. And what I like about Donald Trump is that it isn't just benefiting him. He's doing things that are benefiting the country. And I work in sales operations and revenue operations. And one thing that we
Ryan,
do
can we stay on topic? I get it. I get that you.
I am.
But
no, I am. I'll land the plane. I promise. It's alignment. So Donald Trump's incentives are aligned with America's.
Okay.
And just like
so, because
right,
Donald Trump
like
did a thing that improved, that you think improved and supported the military, which it's arguable whether it actually did. Now, what about when he did things that hurts it? For example, politicizing and using the National Guard within the country is basically universally hated, and it is putting them in danger, and they don't want to do it. They don't like policing streets that they're being told are war-torn when they aren't. And the fact that there are cities in red states that have worse stats, but they're not sending National Guard to. So when he does something like that, it's easy for me to go, here's a column of everything he has in common helps billionaires. And then when it comes to the military, he does things for the military if it helps billionaires. And he actually does things that hurts the military if it also helps billionaires. So I'm still kind of sticking on the billionaire reason is why. Go ahead, Ari.
Right.
Well, I was just going to say,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're okay, Ryan. So when it specifically comes to, like, even if you just look at the government shutdown as a simple example, do you know how many United States veterans are on SNAP assistance?
As a percentage or just total number?
Total number.
I think we could work with
either. I don't
either.
have the faintest idea.
Yeah, either or. So it's 1.2 million veterans, which out of the entire population of our United States veterans is only 8%, but it's still 1.2 million. And if you look at active duty service members, out of the ones that were surveyed, out of the 1.3 million, about 200,000 active duty members receive SNAP benefits. So him actively withholding SNAP is actively hurting our United States Armed Forces, or the people that already served and the people that are still actively serving. Like altogether, that's 1.4 million.
Yeah, I mean, we agree that shutting down the government is not good and it hurts everyone involved. And I don't think Donald Trump was the reason.
That was separate from the shutdown.
Yeah, the government is shut down. We acknowledge that. But the Congress already had a plan in place to make sure SNAP benefits were paid. It was called the contingency fund that USDA has a handle over. But Donald Trump specifically put out on his True Social post saying that no SNAP benefits were going to get paid out until the government reopened, which is a 180 from what he did in January of 2019 under the last government shutdown. SNAP benefits were still paid out to all of the individuals in the United States of America, and he could have done it from the start. And instead of still doing it today, we're at least just doing what the courts have asked him to do, or what his solicitor generals are telling the courts they will do, paying half the benefits. They're not paying anything. He's still just actively appealing to make sure that the federal government doesn't have to spend a dime. And he's asking states to pull back any money that they've already sent out from their own coffers.
Okay.
He's the one actively telling the Secretary of Agriculture not to spend the money.
Ryan, like my biggest problem with what you're with is that there isn't a place where you can say he did something great, that there isn't an obvious billionaire disproportionate benefit. Arguably the best thing he did was these reforms in his first term that like got rid of a lot of backlog with the VA, and it gave them actually some expanded choices of medical places and stuff. But it also started letting private medical make more money off of VA services, which is a part of the whole problem we have now with the ACA subsidies and the crazy prices of premiums and everything. And so it basically did all of these things that started benefiting, again, more billionaire companies, medical service providers, more doctors' offices, they're all making more money. But also it's just like it's like in that one, you can also say, sure, some of those things ended up better. And that should be obvious that those things ended up better. So he should just stick with that because that's good. But now in his second term, without having to worry about re-election, he's literally right now proposing cutting a lot of that, cutting the budget and cutting a huge amount of staffing for the VA workforce. So in his first term, he did something that was politically advantageous and helped billionaires. And now some of those extra parts that are spending more than they're benefiting billionaires, he's talking about cutting. Like, I would argue that the case that you're trying to make, that it's like, no, it's a mutual benefit thing. He does do that at first and then goes, now, how do I reduce the benefit to the veterans and increase it to the billionaires? Let's start with the mutual and then let's balance the scale for the rich people again.
I mean, it's easy to demonize. I think that's what's so funny about Donald Trump and really American politics in general is that it's so evenly split. And you've got many millions of people on both sides who have full thought processes around it. So it is interesting.
It's not
and
a both
easy
sides
to
argument.
demonize. No, I'm just talking about the fact that, you know, you hear it one way and it sounds one way and it hits the ears of someone else completely differently. And it's kind of like if you walk into a room but all of a sudden you realize it's a room that you remembered, but you're looking at it from a different perspective. It's just a different, and I think if I were, I mean, I'm a conservative, I could probably flesh out. I mean, all the arguments seem to be just about demonizing him and finding, without giving anyone a benefit of the doubt, and exploring the benefit of the doubt.
Ryan, this doesn't. What is the benefit of the doubt when what I just told you, the one thing he did well, he is now proposing cutting the things that are balanced more for the veterans. There was a thing he did well that helped veterans and billionaires, and now he is trying to cut. Are you a veteran, Ryan? By chance?
No.
I'm just, okay, so you haven't been exposed to the VA system through family. I
serve in the
have.
next few years.
Reducing staffing is going to make some of these people blow their brains out, which, by the way, they already are at a higher level of doing. Making that shit, and that's what they're talking about. Massive VA staffing cuts and massive budget cuts. Again, the places where it advantages mostly the individual, they're talking about reducing, but all of those things now but you can still go off and go get health care from other people. We will take taxpayer dollars, and instead of using a more controlled price system in the VA, we will funnel them directly to these pharmaceutical companies, directly to these medical companies. We will take it is once again, you, the taxpayer, Ryan, paying billionaires' bills. This is the thing I hate about conservatism, is that I think some of you have like great intentions. I think you're naive, but you have these great intentions of, if we were more fiscally responsible, like things would be better. And yet policy after policy is, let's take $1 out of you, Ryan. I'm going to assume you're middle class, your middle class pocket, and hand it to a billionaire. It's the opposite of what they say they are running on. And it's that time and time and time again.
And I don't see it as a no-sum game, man. I mean, there doesn't, in order for there to be a winner, there doesn't have to be a loser. Two people can win in a mutually beneficial transaction.
Donald Trump has doubled his net worth since becoming president. Does that bother you? To billions of dollars. People are struggling. He has billions more dollars. Does that bother you?
Well, it does, but it doesn't bother me. It bother me about Donald Trump because I think that's something that's pre-existed him, and that is that the rich get richer.
Can you name a single individual who made billions of dollars, who doubled their net worth directly from using the presidency, not from speaking fees after, but in case of Donald Trump, with his presidency, after getting elected, they launched Trump Coin, which now foreign entities pump money into, and has doubled literally to get favors from him, has doubled his net worth by billions of dollars. If you want to say there's always been money corruption, of course there has, and we should reform all of it. But if you're also going to say there's no difference between a person who murders the one person they were mad at and a fucking serial killer, be so goddamn real right now, Ryan.
What about a serial killer? I missed that last point.
Donald Trump is the serial killer where all the other guys are murderers. There is a difference between the one person who advantageously murders once and kills lots of people. There's a difference between a one-off murderer and a school shooter. And you're saying Donald Trump's just doing what everybody's done. Sure, but he's done it like no one's ever done it before. And by the way, in clear violation of the Emoluments Clause. We are very far. We are very far from when Carter literally sold his peanut farm to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest.
Right. Well, he did step away from running his businesses.
No, he didn't.
And that's where that's where his
he
money
literally
comes from.
didn't.
His kids run it.
He
His kids
didn't
he's
step
running
away.
the country.
He didn't put the things into
I'm
blind
sure it's
trust.
much more exhilarating.
If you can make
Go ahead,
you can make the claim that he's not running them anymore, can you also assert the claim that he's not promoting his businesses while he's sitting president, or the businesses that his kids now run?
No, it seems like he definitely is. I don't
He's
think
promoting
that's a big
it,
deal.
correct?
I think
Which is
I
not a
think,
big
to me,
deal
this sounds like
now.
a whiny crybaby that's mad about someone who's successful, and you're going to do anything and try
Donald
to find
Trump's not
anything to tear him down.
Hey, Ryan.
To me, it's
Ryan,
nitpicking.
I work harder than
Nitpicking.
Donald Trump does. Ari works harder than Donald Trump does. And arguably, Ryan, you work harder than Donald Trump does. My problem, the thing I'm whining about
that.
is we've been lied to and told if we work harder, we can be that rich, and you can't. And by the way, I'm doing fine. I don't even qualify for ACA subsidies. So when you're sitting here saying I'm whining, because I'm literally advocating for my income to be reduced by taxes and for presumably you, Ryan, to get more benefits out of my taxes. That's what we're talking about here. So that's nice that you want to go, you're just whining, he's so successful. He's not successful, first of all. How did Donald Trump get rich, Ryan? Can you tell us?
Well, it started with money from his father. And
Correct. No. It didn't start. That's the answer.
And investment.
Like most rich people,
that's how it
he
started.
was born rich.
Right.
And before he was the president, they did the math. If he had just put his funds into, I don't remember, I think it was an index fund, he would have actually been richer than running the companies. He actually lost more money than the blind investing thing would have done. And then people will bring up, well, he used bankruptcy to his advantage. Meanwhile, people will also get mad that people are getting like their ER bills paid for when they can't afford it. Who paid for Donald Trump's bankruptcies? When Donald Trump didn't pay back the banks and didn't pay the laborers, who did pay for those things?
Probably the American taxpayer.
Yeah, no shit. So why are you so fine with billionaires getting welfare, but you vote conservative to try to get poor people off of it? There's no bigger welfare case than Donald Trump.
I'll tell you why. Because I believe in incentives. And in a society where the people who invent the most things and employ the most people and facilitate the most interactions and create the most mutually beneficial transactions, whether that's, a small number of very big transactions or a very big number of very small transactions. It's providing value in mutually beneficial exchange. And that's what billionaires do.
But not the people who work for those people and who actually work harder, because the people at the top are not the hardest workers. So you just listed off a bunch of basically entrepreneurs, inventors, and everything. They should get the welfare, but all of the people working for them should not.
They should work for a billionaire who's willing to pay them a little bit more. And
Great, find that billionaire.
Where's
Where's that billionaire, and how does everyone work for him? Because that's literally what free market capitalism is supposed to produce. That is trickle-down economics. We have been living under trickle-down economics since Reagan. The theory was if billionaires do better, they will give more money out and hire more people. Well, right now, billionaires are doing better than ever. Does that mean everybody else is too?
The technological advancements, the comforts that we have, we're all fatter than ever. We're living longer than ever. And I think, it's easy to look at this skeptically or cynically. And, but I think I really do think we've made amazing strides. This is so many words
to say I'm a cishet white male who's privileged in America without saying those words and can't recognize privilege. You're literally sitting there going like, as you're sitting, this sounds like somebody who is whining. You're sounding like a naive fantasy baby, as though it's literally like, well, we're better because we're better off than 200 years ago when you might accidentally eat poop on your food and die. people aren't actually suffering now, and they should really just appreciate what they're considering suffering now. And even though right now there's mental health crises because you now have to have a basis level of knowledge more than any of the most brilliant people we've ever known throughout history just to work anywhere, like your foundational knowledge is above that of whatever the highest professionals were 500 years ago. You have that plus the constant barrage of stimulation and systems which are created to try and make sure that poor people are giving what money they have at all, again, to rich people, and we aren't protecting them, but we are, as you said, you're okay with giving welfare to billionaires. In other words, Walmart. Is it okay with you that Walmart employees qualify for SNAP, even though Walmart posts billions of dollars of profits every year? Or do you think that Walmart should be forced to pay their workers a living wage before the billionaire CEOs can take millions and millions and billions more in bonuses?
I agree with you.
Well, then you're not a conservative. No conservative can agree with that.
I am by default a conservative. Like, I think there's some times where you need to spend money and put caps on, because I think this is something Charlie Kirk started talking about before he got killed, was
Wait, what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Income tax. He got killed.
When?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I'm Googling it. Oh, it's September 10th. That was my anniversary. I missed it. It's a true story.
I know you're,
I was
I
at
don't know
work.
what the word is.
Been out of shape? Devastated?
No.
I would have looked forward to the day that I get to debate him on stage, if that makes you feel any better. I lament that we'll never debate.
I got super chats every day saying, like, debate Charlie Kirk. So we were looking at arranging that. I don't know. That seems odd. I guess that explains why the super chat stopped.
Yeah, I bet he would have done it too. That's something that I see a lot of conservatives do is have the conversation with them.
No,
Sir,
he doesn't.
Sir, you are the rarity. That you're calling in is the rarity. Usually it's like Tyler earlier, just yelling the point and not listening to the response.
It's hard. It's honestly, it really is hard to hold it together and to follow the arguments, because they really are so different from one another. And it really is bizarre that we live in two different worlds, but we share the same country. And I hope we can come together at some point. And so back to my point. So
sure,
Ryan,
I want to comment on what you just said. We live in two different mindsets, or whatever you want to put it in. I used to be in your mindset. There's a reason I'm not now. And it wasn't because I wanted to be a part of one community or the other. It was engaging in skepticism and having a good reason for all of my beliefs and making sure that I can validate all of them at the point level of debate, that it's consistent with not just statistics, but also morality, the concept that people shouldn't be made to suffer just because somebody else needs more extravagance. You could take away 99% of most of these people's wealth. They're still filthy rich. And it's disgusting that we allow that to happen in a country where other people are working their ass off and can't just become inventors, can't just become entrepreneurs because they didn't have access to education that would get them there in the first place, nor the time and room to do anything but work every hour they physically can just to scrape by.
I have an interesting statistic for Ryan that he probably doesn't know. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Ryan, how many people do you think are in the United States of America, or do you know or live here? Like, what's our population size?
Probably 380 million.
It's about 346 million. I say about, and then I give almost an exact number.
That was the last census. That was the last census, and then you got a lot of immigration. But yeah, it's give or take, right? It's close.
Well, it wasn't 34 million for the record. The last census was in
2022, or it was in 2020, but they do periodic census in between. It's just not the official census. All right. Would it surprise you to know that? Would it surprise you to know that 3 individuals in the entirety of the United States have a combined wealth of 162 million American citizens?
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is wrong. And
Immoral.
I am still, I'm a conservative by default. And what I think is what you guys should get what you want over, I think, a couple year time frame where we shock the system with like an 80%, 90% tax on the ultra wealthy, like the stratosphere literally flying into space, wealthy people. Like there should be a cap. If certain living standards aren't met among people. But I also
what does the
think
phrase
that
conservative by nature mean?
that's like,
Or by default? You say conservative by
It's
default.
weird.
I'll tell you what, I think what I just said is like a nuclear bomb that you can't do again ever. And once you do something like that, it's, it's just easy for that to actually be an oppressive type system. And we've seen that happen
You
in
mean
different places.
taxing you mean taxing corporations and billionaires higher? You don't think that can be done again?
Yeah. It
Why?
can
Ryan,
be
just so
done
you
again.
know, we technically could nuke the places we've nuked before. Like literally your metaphor. We could technically
but
nuke.
there's a reason that we don't, right?
And with time,
that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be a lot for actual nukes. Things will restore. America won't exist at some point. But right now, it exists. And as far as a nuke, I don't know why you want to go with this big nuke thing. Why don't you just make a new permanent system where there's some amount of money in the American economy and some percentage of it is owned by the public and distributed to the public? And you still have markets, you still have incentives, and some people will still be able to get rich by working systems certain ways. But that isn't the majority of the money they have access to, as they currently do. They have access to some bit of it, but most of the money and the companies and they are owned by the people, and it is distributed thusly. And you still get thriving, you still get riches, you still get all of that stuff that happens. But as you said, there has to be a limit. And so when you say you can only do that once, the problem with your system is, what if it eventually fails? You do it once, it resets, and then now you don't get back to, it goes right back to this sort of Thatcherian capitalism, and Ayn Rand raises from the dead and is just stoked.
Yeah. Well, then we do it again. But I do think there needs to be a reset.
But you just said you can't do it again, because it's, why not go with the other system? Why not go with the other systems where the public owns the shit they're building?
When I say, I mean like in my lifetime. I think we need to, if we did something like that, we need to look at the amount of time it took for when we did that. I think it was in, was it the 20s or the 30s? I'm not sure exactly when the tax rate was that high, but it was that high before.
It was right before Reagan. Reagan is the one that lowered it. So it was early 80s, late 70s that it was in the 80 percentile. Like, what do you think is going to happen if let's say we just refer back to a plan that was introduced to, well, not introduced, but was posited to raise it only 8%, the corporate tax rate back up 8% when it was cut by 14. What is going to happen with all of these corporations? Do you think that they're just going to leave the United States?
They could. I think,
are you aware that
work,
you can make that claim, but here's the fun part. Are you aware that Massachusetts recently raised their highest percentile tax rate at the state level 4%? They did that in 2022. The number of wealthy individuals increased in the state of Massachusetts by more than double. People move there despite knowing that they increase their tax rate on the highest percentile by 4%. We are also the largest GDP in the entire world. We are the consumer economy. Billionaires are not going to leave the United States of America if we raise the corporate tax rate by 8%. And actually, you know what? If Elon Musk left the United States, I'd throw a fucking party.
I don't. If you're going to do something like that, I think it needs to be a major campaign issue. We need to decide as a country, and then immediately after we reset the game, we have to put in like a block of like maybe 30, 40 years before we can revisit it again. I do
or we
think that
stop
there needs to
half-assing.
be.
Hey, Ryan, since we know it was a problem before and it didn't get fixed last time, and now we're 30, 40 years later, and it still didn't fix last time, why don't we just go with that other system we said, where the public owns
work.
the shit they create?
She just said that the GDP was the highest in the world. It has worked. And when the tax rate was 80, 90, actually 88 to 94%.
Wait, Ryan, is the economic success measured by GDP?
Well, she just said it, so argue with her then. That's
No. I'm not.
But
she didn't say that economic success is based on GDP. What is more important, the dollar amount the country has, or the dollar amount your neighbor has? I would rather, Ryan, I would rather our GDP be cut in half and everybody's basic needs be met than have the bragging rights of being the richest country in the world. It turns out you don't have to choose between those. In fact, there are lots of countries that have resorted to socialism, and until capitalist countries fucked with them, we're doing quite good. But capitalism is threatened by socialism. And so
it really is. It's a poisonous ideology, and I think, but the problem
capitalism
is that a broken
for sure.
clock is like but a broken clock is right twice a day, and the problem is that there are some solutions that communism or socialism has that can work in the micro, but if you codify it as a main thing, I think it needs to be a one-off thing to reset the game, and then because honestly, the country has done well. We are living longer, we are living fuller lives, and we're more connected with the best technology.
That is not the measure of if we're doing well, Ryan. First of all, you are describing a certain group. The best healthcare in the world happens in America, but only for rich people. Most people in America have put off medical procedures because they couldn't afford it, have put off going to the doctor because they couldn't afford it, or aren't seeing it's hilarious because I always hear about we can't do socialist healthcare because in England you have to wait 8 weeks to see a doctor, which is only true for non-emergency care. I just waited 1 year to see a new gastroenterologist. I'm not even kidding. I just waited a year to see a specialist who happens to be able to cover a specific thing I have. It took a year to get to him, and I have a gold insurance plan.
It takes me 6 months to get seen by a neurologist for migraines.
America is not the best because we're living longer. You will probably live longer, Ryan, because there is also a disproportionate amount of that being there is a group that benefits, and we have ways of writing off a lot of the other groups that don't benefit and not including them into stats. Just like the way people are the COVID numbers don't count because those people were diabetic, therefore they deserve to die. Go ahead, Ryan.
But doesn't a rising tide lift all boats? I mean, obviously there are some people that fall through the cracks, but the better the country does, the better we all do.
The answer is no. Billionaires are doing better than ever, and people are suffering. The rising tides doesn't lift all boats when one of the boats is a mega yacht and the other boats capsize in its wake. And that's literally what's happening.
I didn't know Procter & Gamble products could hold up boats.
So I wanted to. So the radical difference in quality of healthcare.
That was very niche.
Go ahead. We do have to wrap up here,
radical difference.
Ryan. So this is your last point because we got to wrap up.
I got one final point. Please don't interrupt. So
I might.
I'm sure you will. I'll get to the tracking system. So when you get LASIK done, there's a tracking system that tracks your eye, and when you move your eye, the laser moves with it so that it doesn't actually burn the wrong spots of your eye. And that technology came from jets and jets tracking systems and like homing missiles and shit like in so I think you look at that, you look at flying into space, these things.
No, wait, stick with the eye. Don't jump to another one. Stick with the eye one. And what is the point that eye one makes? Because I'm very invested.
Because we spend so much money on certain technologies and we allow billionaires to invent and do crazy amounts of things and be like the beacon of crazy stuff. it allows us to prototype different ideas. We're still the beacon of ingenuity, and we take these ideas and we move them in. And that cost me, I think, $400. I got LASIK done on my eyes, and I have 20/20 vision, and that was maybe 15 years ago. And that's because we invested in.
Okay, Ryan,
I mean,
just so you know,
you're laughing.
we're
What's wrong
cutting you
with
off
that?
because we do have to cut off, and I'm laughing at you because, Ryan, your example of the innovation and ingenuity and why it was worth it to have this level of income disparity is literally a procedure that most people who need LASIK can't get because LASIK is considered a luxury in our country. And you said you got it for $400. The average cost, because I just checked for myself again, is $2,400 to $3,200 per eye. So whatever $400 LASIK you got, I'm glad it worked out. It sounds like you should be blind because you got coupon LASIK. I'm glad it worked out for you, but literally your example of why America is great, even for poor people, is a thing poor people don't have access to. But thank goodness the rich people innovated special rich people eye care. Ryan,
Not just that, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. That's
can you
one
please
example.
confirm to the chat that I did not pay you for this call?
No, you didn't pay me. You haven't let me finish my
Thank you.
points, but you're good.
Unfortunately, we got to go. We have 1 minute left. I think we all saw where it was going. Ryan, excellent final example. I appreciate you. I couldn't pay for a call that effective. We'll see you later, bud. Call back next time.
I love you.
Okay, bye.
Did he say
That
it
sounds
or
like-
you? Did he just say he loves me?
I think he said you. So I actually find that funny because there's this girl, I don't know if she's on YouTube, but she's on TikTok and she does prank calls. And at the end of her call, she's always like, I love you. And that's just what made me think.
By the way, I just want to look up what it is. Federal Reserve surveys indicate that nearly 30% of Americans would have difficulty covering a $400 emergency expense. So LASIK, even if it was $400, if it was an emergency that would save your eyes, that you had to get LASIK, only a full 37% of Americans wouldn't be able to cover it if as an emergency, not as a commodity, not as a luxury, just so everybody's aware. Everybody, please go watch Taylor and Alyssa over on Chewed Gum. All right, thank you so much. We're going to have you back soon. You're very good at this. It's annoying. It's intimidating.
I'll
It
have
bothers
to
me.
interrupt you more. So
Yeah, correct.
you
That is true. That is true. I am a talker. It's a compulsion of autism as well as a compulsion to never have dead air. It's both. Anyway.
I feel that one.
Yeah. Okay, bye everybody. That was the